com, or you can call 855-551-7066. Tell them Bill sent you today. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
Today marks the beginning of an active period of weather with on and off rain and storms all the way through Saturday. So humidity on the rise through the day. Let's be ready for hit and miss rain and storms midday into the afternoon and early evening. Our high at 83. Partly cloudy and dry tonight, down to 69 for a mild low. Thursday starts out dry, but rain and storms move in through the afternoon, linger into Thursday night. Some heavy rain and pockets of flooding are possible. 85 for the high tomorrow. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
We know it's early. Mike's not totally awake yet either. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on NewsTalkSTL.
As we get closer and closer to the actual 250th birthday celebration for America, I think it's about time that we start looking at some of the great things about our country, even as we look at some of the things that still need to be fixed and made better. There's nothing wrong with that, and you can do both at the same time. To love your country, to love your community means that you want to make it the best absolutely possible. Hey, good morning. Mike Ferguson, happy Wednesday to you. We started a series of those America 250 conversations on Tuesday's program, and joining us was Rick Graber, which you probably don't know that name. He runs the Bradley Foundation, which, again, you may not know that name, but what they do is that they invest money into community organizations all over the country that work to push our culture and our society towards that American ideal. A lot of really interesting stuff came from that discussion. Here's what he had to say as we approach America 250, particularly looking at the concept of American exceptionalism. This is a term that got used a lot in previous years, American exceptionalism.
Yes.
A lot of times it'd be somebody running for office or, sometimes an advocacy group that says, American exceptionalism, we're different. And in so many ways, we need to understand that we are better, or we should be better, because of things that we value, things that we implement.
Sure.
Is American exceptionalism a benefit of the freedoms that we have, or is it a requirement in order to preserve those freedoms?
Yes.
Or is it both? Yeah. So what makes us exceptional as we celebrate 250 years of America, now that we are just within, a week and a half?
A stone's throw.
Of the America's 250th birthday. Let's have some America 250 focused conversation starting right now. Interesting article published in Newsweek, Protect the Institutions That Sustain American Exceptionalism. It was written by Richard Graber from the Bradley Foundation and also from Hannah Scandera. And Richard joins us right now. Richard, good to chat with you. Appreciate you being on the program here. First of all, let's talk about that American exceptionalism, because there are some people who take kind of umbrage at the term, but the exceptionalism means we are the exception. I mean, I'm just getting right into what the word means. We are different, and we'll get into why that matters and how do we preserve that and how it benefits us all. But why should we look at us as unique amid all of the other countries around the world? Because that's really the foundation of where we should start based on what I'm getting from your article.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Greetings from Milwaukee. Absolutely, we are exceptional. We are unique, and you can see it in the story of the Bradley brothers, our benefactors at the Bradley Foundation. These were two guys that didn't graduate from high school, that built an amazing company ultimately in Milwaukee. That when it sold, it was the largest sale of a privately held business ever, and it was a result of a lot of hard work and grit and perseverance, but it was also a recognition by the brothers that there was something different about America that enabled their success. And they would point to rule of law, to free markets, to capitalism, to our constitutional order with its separation of powers, federalism, to a strong civil society. And that truly is unique in the world, where it's private voluntary organizations and neighborhoods and communities solving problems and not government. And they truly appreciate it. And Bill Daniels appreciated it, benefactor of the Daniels Fund. And those are the institutions, those are the principles that we think that the Bradley brothers thought have to be preserved and conserved if this nation is to continue being unique and exceptional, and indeed it is.
Good morning, Richard. This is Susie Moore. What is the nice to talk with you? What is the answer to those who seem to feel like this is, if you talk about American exceptionalism, if you praise it, you're basically being cocky, or you're being, you're not taking into account the flaws of the country and the problems that we have. There seems to be a very heavy pushback on the idea of this exceptionalism. And so what's the answer to that?
Well, of course, this country has been imperfect. There's no country that will ever be perfect, but there's more opportunity, there's more innovation, there's more entrepreneurship in this country than any other country on earth. And, as Americans, as we approach this 250th anniversary, we really should focus on the positive, on why it's great to be an American and why it is unique and different than the rest of the world. I don't think it's cocky or being braggarts or anything like that. I think it's pride in America. And so often these days we retreat to our tribes. A lot of it's sown by rhetoric from the left and actions from the left. But let's be positive. Let's celebrate America. Let's celebrate the incredible successes and opportunities that we've had here and build on that instead of trying to tear everything down.
We are visiting with Rick Graber from the Bradley Foundation. The article, which you can find at Newsweek, is Protect the Institutions That Sustain American Exceptionalism. I want to follow up on one of the things you just listed a second ago, and that would be the civil society, because a lot of times these discussions immediately default to government. The great things about the Constitution, the ways that we're getting it right, the ways we're getting it wrong. But so often people look to government to solve the problems, which you alluded to just a little bit ago. And when we talk about civil society and those civil institutions, we're really talking more about like the heart and soul of what it is to be an American and not relying on government coercion for something. How do we identify and sustain those institutions as opposed to defaulting to a government authority?
There's no silver bullet. And we have the organizations here in Milwaukee that the people that you don't read about, the people you don't see on TV, the people that every day go to work, oftentimes 24 hours a day, to help fellow citizens, to help their neighbors overcome a problem, whether it's an addiction problem, whether it's an education problem, you name it. And there are superstars in every single community in this country that are doing that. They're solving the problems. It's not another government program. And the facts bear me out on that. This is not just a blind statement. So at the Bradley Foundation, what we do is try to find the best of those heroes and provide resources to them. It's amazing stuff. I know you can name some organizations in your own community that are providing those heroic services.
I think this kind of ties into that. I was thinking about the fact that, there's been such a loss of trust in so many of our major institutions, not just government. Although the government has done a bang-up job in that regard, but like media, the justice system, which is part of the government. But there's so many facets of the framework of our society that have taken hits because of, human failures and corruption and things like that. And so it's hard for people to...
Capitalism, free market.
Yeah.
Taking a huge hit.
Yes. And so it's hard for people to know, or to feel comfortable putting their trust or their faith in any of that, which obviously the ultimate faith belongs in a higher power. But in terms of building up or protecting those institutions that do help uphold the principles we want, how do we go about doing that?
Not easy. We have to talk about it. We have to be more persuasive. We have to be willing to talk outside of our bubble. To people that don't necessarily, at least initially, agree. It's a long process. Again, a lot of the organizations that we fund are doing just that. But, when you see elections like the election for New York City mayor, when you see what's likely to happen in Washington, D.C. and other places like that with electing true socialists, communists, if you will, to office, it tells us that we've got a lot of work to do. But there's a great story to tell. Again, the facts are on our side. And let's get back to telling those stories. Let's not be ashamed of being an exceptional, unique country. Let's not be ashamed of our free market, limited government successes, and talk about them, celebrate them, and demonstrate that indeed they do work, because they do work.
Rick, why is it better to solve problems through those civil institutions and outside of government, as opposed to somebody saying, but that's what government's for. Let's just elect the right people and fund the right programs, and then we can do it that way collectively. Why is it better to take that other approach that you wrote about in that article at Newsweek?
Well, I mean, take your problem in our society today. Let's take addiction. A government program is not going to solve that. It's going to take another person caring about the person with the addiction, in my example. Someone who's willing to take a call at 3 o'clock in the morning to help this person out. A government program is not going to do that. Giving parents the right to choose the best possible education for them is going to give that person the best opportunity in life. The examples go on and on and on, but it's people helping people, much more so than government. I mean, Lyndon Johnson started his Great Society in the 1960s in an effort to solve poverty. It's only made it worse. More government just doesn't work. Yes, there is a role for government in a lot of things, and particularly our defense and other areas of importance. But when it comes to people helping people, it's not a bureaucratic program that's going to make it happen.
We just got a minute or so left. We're visiting with Rick Graber from the Bradley Foundation. If we are going to have this country survive another 250 years with these freedoms and with this constitutional basis intact, what should we be doing right now to lay the foundation for the next 250 years?
As Ronald Reagan said, you've got to fight for freedom every single day. You've got, through any means you can possibly come up with, fight for those freedoms. Don't let them erode. Certainly elections matter. Education matters. There's a big push right now, and it's a great push for more civics education. Have people understand the founding, not deride our founders, which you hear so often. Talk about the things that really had enabled opportunity. This is the place where people come when they need medical care. This is the place that people come when they when they want to build a business. This is where people come to be educated. Let's work on all that stuff, and if we do, there will be another wonderful 250 years of freedom and opportunity in this country.
All right. The article is Protect the Institutions That Sustain American Exceptionalism. You can find that at Newsweek. And Rick, I'm sure you've got a lot of fantastic civil and civic and local organizations in Milwaukee. Those of us in St. Louis, there's one we just don't care for. They're called the Brewers, but that's another story. But
tough team this year again.
Yeah, I know we're 5 games behind you. But when you people want to learn more about what you all do, because I'm somewhat familiar. I've worked in the academic world, so I'm somewhat familiar with some of the things that you all do. But people want to learn more about the Bradley Foundation. How do they do that? BradleyFDN.org. Okay, 314-912-1019. That's, of course, as always, how to get involved in the conversation. Wednesday, meaning we've got Bump Day coming up here this morning. Flashback Friday, just a couple days away, so get ready. If you haven't already, start sending in those 80s bump music requests for this week's Flashback Friday right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Thanks for taking my call.
Right here.
We know what's going on.
Have a great awakening.
You see through the smoke screen.
It's cool to be woke.
News Talk STL.
Until it's not.
News, analysis, opinion.
Public schools, like public libraries, should be free and open to all. Open enrollment allows parents to choose the school that's the best fit for their children. Maybe another school has a wider curriculum, is bigger or smaller. Maybe a kid is being bullied and would be more comfortable at another school. 75% of parents favor open enrollment. Open enrollment programs now exist in 43 states, and Missouri should join them. Our next-door neighbor, Kansas, has one of the strongest open enrollment policies in the nation. Kansas parents are trusted with choices and options, while Missouri parents must move out of their home to change public schools. And it's a trend. Nationwide, the percentage of students going to their chosen public school has steadily increased. Assigning kids to schools based on their zip code is the old way. Open enrollment is a better way. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Jamie Allman here, tossing and turning over retirement worries. You're not alone. 3 out of 4 Americans share your concern about having enough saved. But here's the thing. A comfortable retirement isn't out of reach, even if you're planning for 30 or 40 years ahead. Every day, Jeff Portman from the Gemini Wealth Group helps people avoid the critical mistakes that can derail their retirement. Build your path to financial confidence. Visit GeminiWealthGroup.com or call Jeff directly at 314-888-0123.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA, SIPC.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
When the storm hits and a tree comes down, you need someone you can trust right now. OLI Outdoor Services in Godfrey is on call 24/7 for emergency tree removal, trimming, stump grinding, and land clearing. Serving Illinois and Missouri with licensed, insured professionals and over 200 years of combined experience. Tree removal starting at just $2.99. Free estimates, plus financing. Visit OLIOutdoorServices.com or call 1-888-5-SAWING.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Okay, oh my goodness, where do we start today? So much going on. Okay, one of the interesting questions coming up here, we'll get to this later on here. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is suggesting that some police departments consolidate in the St. Louis region.
Oh.
Yeah, now this doesn't have any weight of law, and she's just speaking in terms of being the state's top prosecutor. And she's not suggesting any laws are be forced or any sort of like mergers or anything like that. She's just saying you guys got a lot of chiefs and a lot of administration and not enough police on the street in some areas of the St. Louis region. She's not specifically talking about just the city. But I think it's an interesting question because we've already got discussions about fire departments being consolidated on the eastern side of the county as well. So I want to kind of bounce that off people here just a little bit as well. Also, holy crap, things got a little chippy at the St. Louis County Council meeting yesterday.
Really?
Okay, when I say a little chippy, they were talking about some funding for nurses at the jails, the adult jail, the juvenile detention center, both.
Noble cause.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's also required by law. I mean, so you've got basically about 24 nurses and medical professionals who are employed there. Their contract's running out. So the money's been allocated in the budget, but they've got to, do the actual funding, and some members of the council have some questions. Well, a bunch of people were, showed up and they were saying, you got to pass this, you got to fund this. It's like $2.9 million or something like that, which just seems about par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a process and there's a procedure, and things got so heated that they had to clear the council chambers yesterday.
Wow.
Everybody get out. And there was a request that Sam Page be removed. Now, he wasn't.
Of course his name was going to pop up in the story.
Well, because he and Chair Ritter Days apparently were going at each other on this. I mean, they were like having, now this is the council chambers, and the executive has a place there, but it's the county council meeting. And so somebody said, get that clown out of here. I think they probably said it more politely and more professionally and more diplomatically than that.
More dignified, yeah.
Probably a good thing I'm not on the county council, because I'd be the one going, get that clown out of here. He wasn't.
You don't get out of here right now.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get myself in trouble. So we're going to get into that. I've actually got a couple calls out trying to get somebody at last second from the county council on the show. So we're going to try to get a first-person look at that. Okay. Not St. Louis, NewsTalkSTL birthday party, Friday.
Yes.
Cottleville.
Yes.
The question came up, weather forecast is looking a little sketchy. Now, first of all, the weather forecast has looked really sketchy on the last few things last couple weeks, turned out to be fine. Short answer is we're still planning on doing it. We're going to have a wait-and-see approach. We'll update you as the weather actually gets closer.
Summer is here at Daniel's Farm and Greenhouses on Juggerman in St. Peters. Discover our breathtaking 55,000 square feet of greenhouses featuring 8,000 hanging baskets, hundreds of perennials, and 100,000 pots of colorful annuals. From vegetable plants to premium grass seed, mulch to herbs, our knowledgeable staff is ready to answer all your questions. Start spring off right with pansies, potted tulips, and everything your garden craves. Daniel's Farm and Greenhouses. Visit us today on Juggerman or online at danielsfarmandgreenhouses.com.
JC's Wayback Machine.
Next week is the 39th anniversary of the Betzer Pond Scum stunt. We'll take you all the way back to its origin and how it's popped up everywhere from New York City television to Regis on Millionaire.
But why pond scum? You know, a guy called me that years ago. I never knew what he meant. Pond scum.
And the shocking death of Jim Morrison next week in 1971. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9. On News Talk STL.
Hi, Sandy. What's that?
I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot.
What's 4?
Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Never paint again. This is Darren, owner of Rhino Shield. Want to eliminate painting your home, business, or church? Call the experts at Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic wall coating to regular paint and vinyl. Perfect for aluminum, steel, unpainted brick, block, stucco, EIFS, drive-it, cement board, and wood sidings. Rhino Shield eliminates wasting time and money painting year after year. Our ceramic coating deflects 90% of the sun's UV rays and 100% of the moisture. Our clients want affordable protection with the elimination of maintenance. Rhino Shield protects your biggest investment while maintaining your architectural features and gives you the curb appeal you deserve. Make your home great again by working with the Rhino Shield experts. A+ rated with the BBB. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. New York City's Democrat Socialist mayor was not on the ballot in yesterday's primaries, but 3 congressional candidates endorsed by Zohran Mamdani were, and all 3 of them won. Elsewhere, Trump-backed State Attorney General Alan Wilson wins South Carolina's Republican primary for governor. This is going to happen, the words of the head of the UN's nuclear agency, who says his inspectors will visit what's left of Iran's nuclear enrichment sites. President Trump says that when it comes to Iran's claims that no inspections have been agreed to,
they're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspections.
Following the lead of the House, the Senate has passed a war powers resolution demanding President Trump get congressional approval before any additional military action against Iran. The president dismisses that non-binding resolution as meaningless and poorly timed. 4 Republicans joining every Democrat in voting yes on that resolution. Today marks the 4th anniversary of the Supreme Court's repeal of Roe v. Wade. Marjorie Dannenfelser of Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America says that now her group's attention turns to abortion pills.
We have women who are receiving these drugs because of a Biden COVID hangover. The rules were dropped around the distribution of these drugs. There's no in-person visit to anybody associated with her health. She just gets it in the mail, or her boyfriend, her ex-husband, the guys at the fraternity, someone has those drugs and she gets them, and it's leading to disasters all over the country.
Dannenfelser speaking with the Salem Radio Network. A federal judge in San Francisco is barring the feds from making immigration arrests at U.S. courthouses. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures down 49 points, NASDAQ futures up 145. Townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Today marks the beginning of an active period of weather with on and off rain and storms all the way through Saturday. So humidity on the rise through the day. Let's be ready for hit and miss rain and storms midday into the afternoon and early evening. Our high at 83. Partly cloudy and dry tonight, down to 69 for a mild low. Thursday starts out dry, but rain and storms move in through the afternoon, linger into Thursday night. Some heavy rain and pockets of flooding are possible. 85 for the high tomorrow. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at SerenityWealthBiz.com. That's SerenityWealthBiz.com.
Tired of settling for generic fishing gear? Say hello to Bullseye Bait and Tackle, O'Fallon's one-stop shop for serious anglers. Live bait, premium tackle, rods, reels, and an unbeatable selection of lures from top brands like Megabass, Zoom, and Berkley. Whether you're after bass, catfish, crappie, or bluegill, they've got the gear to help you land the big one. Plus, their expert team, led by Mark and Liz, provides rod and reel repair services. Bullseye Bait and Tackle, 266 Fort Zumwalt Square, or at bullseyebaitandtackle.net.
Hey, this is Chris Arps. If you enjoy a good cigar like I do, check out Dorset Cigar at 11396 Dorset Road in Maryland Heights. They'll help you find the perfect smoke, and they have a fantastic premium selection. Mention promo code NewsTalkSTL for 7% off. Visit DorsetCigar.com.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
The story behind the story when I was accused of stealing from my radio station, facing a polygraph.
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Big guy, one of the biggest in the world.
Susie Moore.
Do you think he's ready?
He's not ready.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This is your cousin.
Oh boy, things got a little ugly at the St. Louis County Council meeting last night. Yes, they did. So I'll give you the basic details. We'll dig into it just a little bit later on. I'll just kind of pull the curtain back a little bit. I'm trying to get one of the county council members on it, so they're waking up to my text messages right now.
Moving pieces, parts.
A little bit going on. So what happened is at one point last night or yesterday, they everybody out. They cleared the county council chambers.
You know it's getting chippy when they clear the room.
Oh, my goodness. They were clearing the move because apparently some of the folks on the council and some of the people in the audience, they were chirping at each other. And it got a little ugly, got a little personal. And then Rita Days, the chair of the county council, and Sam Page got into it as well. And it got apparently, I don't know how out of control or whether it was just, hey, you're being unprofessional, or oh my goodness, start rolling the entrance music for the for the Royal Rumble or whatever. I don't know, but at issue is about $3 million, a little under $3 million of funding for medical professionals at the jails.
Okay,
which is a totally legitimate big deal.
Yeah,
I mean that's a serious issue. But there are a bunch of people who were testifying in public comment section, and they were like, we cannot believe that this isn't funded yet. They're going to go to a skeleton crew for a while, that sort of thing. And then you got the county council saying, yeah, we're trying to meet with the health director, and we need some questions answered because we're $40 million in the hole in our spending right now.
Right.
And so both sides have, from the news coverage at least, both sides seem to have very valid concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got ugly and got personal and everything going along with that. So we're going to dig into that just a little bit. Hopefully I can get, somebody who was there to be a part of that discussion here. Okay. Here's an interesting thing as well. I found of Donald Mayhew, and then another, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like another 12 state representatives signed on to this, including from the area here, Tricia Burns, and let's see here, who else was on here? John Simmons, and let's see here, there's Louis Riggs and some others that were signed on. They're asking the governor for a special session.
For?
Data centers.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting. Not so much about are they legal or illegal. It's not about that. But this is one of those areas where I'm a little leery of special sessions because I think they should be for extraordinary circumstances only that must be dealt with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's look at what's happening. Festus, Troy, Warrenton, all these other areas. I say Troy, Lincoln County. And looking at all these other areas, and the questions that are being wrestled with have to do with a lot of infrastructure and land use and property rights and all of this sort of stuff.
Sure.
So the state representatives who have signed on to this are saying state law doesn't address these things. Basically, the technology is way ahead of where the state law is and where the guidelines are.
Okay.
That's what I'm reading from Don's letter here. Representative Mayhew's letter here. So I think that's worthy of discussion. Now, the other question is, okay, if you're going to call a special session, they're supposed to be incredibly narrowly tailored, as in this is the specific thing we're going to address.
Yeah.
And then the other part of that is, why can't it wait until January to go through the full process?
Well, they may have, plenty of other agenda items on tap for that. I guess I'm not clear about what the purpose of the session would be, because it sounds like they're still in we need to figure out how to do this mode, as opposed to we have a plan and it's important that we go ahead and move on it.
Yeah, I don't sense that there's a clear plan. I think it's we need to address it, but I don't see that there's...
Do you call a special session for basically a study session? I mean, it doesn't...
Yeah, I think you can appoint a work group and a commission to do that.
Yeah, that's... So I'm not saying that it's not an important issue. I'm saying I'm a little unclear as to why this is the mechanism that you go to for this. And I'm feeling a little bit of frustration already because all of the key legislative items that were like top agenda, even the ones that got passed, are being, are stalling out now because of...
Because our site can't message worth a crap?
But yeah.
Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry.
So
not sorry.
It's like...
I said it, but I'm not sorry.
Okay, so you get something done during a special session, like what? I don't know. I'm skeptical right now.
Here's the other aspect, and not to add to your skepticism, but let me throw a little fuel onto your fire there.
Okay.
We did a special session last year.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, what was that for?
The corporate welfare for the ball teams in Kansas City. And it ended up being a phenomenal debacle that turned into a stupid property tax thing that's likely going to be struck down. Well, actually has been. A lot of it has been struck down by the courts because it was such a joke. Because they were the Republican-controlled legislature was so intent on handing out money to the Chiefs and the Royals that they ended up with this bizarre tax thing that treated different counties different ways.
Yeah, well, it seems to me like that one went down in flames, like for good reason. I mean, in other words,
totally good
like
reason.
At least it worked out. It probably worked out to the benefit of the state, even though that's not what they ostensibly were trying to go for.
Right, exactly. So special sessions can go a variety of ways. And here's the thing: is the concerns being brought up as far as like essentially what Representative Mayhew and those who have signed on. What they're arguing is the state needs to set the guidelines and what the lanes are and are not and what's going to be required under state law for these things as far as water usage and infrastructure and energy usage and things like that. Okay, well, that's legit. I think that's legit. I don't know, and I'm willing to be convinced that it can't wait until January.
It seems to me like it's something that should be studied and come up with first before you try to move legislation.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, because a special session, that is, we have something that the decision we need to make right now.
Right. Redistricting was one of those.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah, that's right.
That was like it had a clear goal in mind. Right. It had a purpose, and they got it done.
Yeah. Okay. There was a lot of question. I mean, that was very partisan. I mean, it's like, does it have to be done right now? Well, yeah, why? Well, Donald Trump told us to. I mean, I don't know that
it needed to be
done.
It needed to be done when it was done, if it was going to be done, in order to be effective for this election cycle.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was, But you're right. It was, here's the goal. Here's the we have a deadline to do it.
So whether you agreed with it or not, at least it made sense that they were doing it that way.
Yeah. And these are huge questions they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because the laws that they're referring to when it comes to economic development and all this kind of stuff, infrastructure and energy and all this, we have laws on the books about them, but they may be antiquated because technology is changing so fast. I mean, and the economy is changing so fast, and so I think that's a very legitimate thing to bring up. I'm not convinced that a special session is the way to do it, but I'm open to the arguments.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I just don't. I don't see how that, to me, this doesn't seem as much like, it seems like we're backing into it somehow.
Yeah. I mean, and certainly there's an incentive to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, but I would rather do it right than do it fast.
Correct.
Yeah. So some of you state lawmakers here, you're going to be getting a text from me or call from you later on today because I just found this morning here. All right, 6:14 right now. A question came up regarding our birthday party on Friday.
Yeah.
So the weather forecast is not looking great.
It's not.
Now, I will also say this. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? We all were convinced that we were going to get washed out of Riverport because of the incoming storm, and it was clear skies and beautiful weather. A few days before that, we knew that we were going to be building arcs, and for the most part, the St. Louis Metro got some spotty showers.
Correct.
So we are planning to have a party. And if you are not in Cottleville at the News Talk STL party, where are you at, people? Okay, so if the weather forecast does change and the storms happen, we'll deal with it accordingly, but we're going to party.
All right.
Maybe we're going to be a little rained on if we party. Maybe not, but we're going to party in Cottleville. Okay. So NewsTalkSTL.com, you're going to get all that information on there as well. So we're watching the forecast just like everybody else. But literally in the last 3 weeks, we've had, 2 or 3 things where we're like, brace for this one, people. And it went around the metro area completely.
Right. Yeah. So, you just never know with Mother Nature.
Right. Precisely. So we'll keep you posted on that as well.
The Supreme Court did hand down some decisions yesterday. Actually, there were 5 of them that it handed down because there's, running out of time to do it all. But I'm going to kind of go over what they did, and we'll let you know what they mean.
Making cold mind to fight your war. Stop it right now. I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Yo, this is Vic. Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every Wednesday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Brought to you by Heroes Care, Alamo Military Collectibles, Gemini Wealth Group, Michael's Funeral Home, and Freddie's Market.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community, Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
Tim Jones here to introduce you to your new favorite roofing company, Corel Roofing. There were 4 major storms last year. Did your roof take a hit? Do you even know? Most homeowner insurance policies require claims to be filed within 1 year, so time's running out for a closer look. At Corel Roofing Company, you get a local roofing specialist who will advocate for you every step of the way. Give yourself peace of mind. Schedule your roof inspection today with Corel Roofing at CorelRoofingCo.com. That's CorelRoofingCo.com.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over Prince shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
As the Iran conflict continues, there are many Iranian immigrants to the United States who are celebrating America at 250. One of those is Lana Silk, CEO of the group Transform Iran. In our continuing SRN News special series, Faith and Freedom, Lana, now a U.S. citizen, says she understands firsthand the privilege and responsibility of living in our free society, and she celebrates the freedoms that America has provided.
Happy birthday, America. What a privilege to be living in a country like this, and praise God for the rich spiritual heritage that we have in America. Really, my prayer for America is to walk forward in wisdom. You know, the old phrase, with great power comes great responsibility, and there is great responsibility on the shoulders of the leaders of this country, and we should be praying for them, whether we agree with them or not.
Lana Silk encourages Americans to remember that much of the world looks to America to set the tone for how to protect a free government. This is SRN News.
All right. The Supremes handed down some decisions on Tuesday.
The Supremes.
That's right. So which are the biggest ones? So again, I want to remind everybody just behind the scenes here, when it turns out it's hand down day, I'm not saying that anybody would like try to annoy Susie and go, hey, look at this video of a dog that popped up on my reels. Nobody would do that.
I'm not saying that.
Just because Susie.
All I know is that yesterday you actually, I think, figured out what I was doing because there was none of that. And because I was like, we had there was a tech in there working on the computer stuff, and I was like in the zone.
She was totally in the zone because it was, when you get the notice there's going to be a hand down, again, they don't tell you how many or which cases. You just got to wait till they come.
Correct.
And you were kind of like, whoa, there's a lot of these. It was like somebody in the garage, like, that's a lot of puppies. We didn't know that many. And here they come.
It was like, there's 3 boxes because they release them in boxes. So if there's multiple boxes, there's like either one real, several really big opinions or multiple opinions.
Right.
Process of elimination, we knew there was going to be a lot because they had 17 left to go and they're done next week.
Yeah.
So, and we know that they were doing yesterday, they're doing Thursday, and they're doing next Tuesday.
Oh, this coming Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, don't mess with me tomorrow morning, same thing. So it was like inevitable they were going to be handing down like 5 or 6 of them.
Okay, so let's go through kind of working up to the bigger ones that matter. So let's go over what actually happened so people get at least the digest, and I'm sure they can look it up. You wrote some on RedState on some of these. And
it did. Yeah. So, there definitely are, like 7 or 8 really big ones that we're waiting on, like birthright citizenship, TPS, does temporary mean temporary, the vampire gun rule out of Hawaii. And I figured odds were that we were going to get at least one of the big ones yesterday, and we didn't. They still managed to kind of like tiptoe through those, but we did get 5 decisions. And so real quick, I'm just going to give you a really quick overview of the ones that probably aren't going to be of consequence to most people. The first one had to do with plaintiffs who were practitioners of the Falun Gong religion, who said they were persecuted by the Chinese government and that Cisco Systems helped in that, and they wanted to bring a lawsuit, and they basically said you can't use this statute to bring this lawsuit.
Okay.
That's all that was.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there was one that had to do with whether U.S. nationals can bring a lawsuit.
But hang on, did something just happen?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it again there.
Whether U.S. nationals could bring a lawsuit about against anyone who traffics in property confiscated by the Cuban government. So we had the Chinese, we had the Cubans.
Okay.
Those were those 2.
Got it.
Then there was one about a Louisiana man who wanted to sue prison officials who shaved his head even after he showed them a copy of a court ruling that allowed him to keep his long hair for religious reasons.
Right.
He's a Rastafarian.
Yeah, Rastafarian guy. I actually found that to be kind of interesting.
It is an interesting one.
Yeah.
And I think Joe Cunningham, our Louisiana expert, I think he may write something up on that because it does have some interesting implications.
Because the Supreme Court ruled, basically, as I understand it, they didn't rule in his favor.
No, they basically said he didn't, there wasn't a special cause of action. There's limitations on how public employees and government entities can be sued. It's sovereign immunity. So there usually has to be like spelled out exceptions as to when and how they can be sued. And basically they were saying this doesn't really fall into.
So they weren't ruling on whether or not his religious rights were violated. They were ruling on, was he able to sue for this? Because he was claiming, there's you don't have to be my religion to have religious rights,
Correct. Yeah. Again, this wasn't so much on the validity of or the merits of his claim as much as it was whether procedurally he had the right mechanism that he pursued in order to do it.
Okay.
So those were all kind of procedural rulings. The one that got some attention was Pung versus Isabella County. This was the couple in Michigan that had a tax dispute with the county, and their property was taken and sold at auction.
Right.
It was sold for far less than market value. They were given the difference between, because they only owed like $2,200. Yeah, we're having some issues there.
Soros the Gremlin.
I guess I'll keep talking.
Just yell real loud so all of St. Louis
I can
hear
project.
you. Yes.
I can totally project. You want me to try this one?
Yeah, let's do that
All
one.
right. Here, I can move. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work.
So she's moving over to mic 2 over here. Okay.
Now it's on?
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Now we got
Can you
you.
hear me now?
Okay.
Ooh. The system needs its caffeine.
Yes.
Anyway, they had like a tax dispute over like $2,200, and
so let me jump in. Okay, so was this because they didn't pay taxes and it got leaned on.
Not exactly, and it's more complicated than that. For my purposes, just accept that there was a dispute between them and the county over $2,200 with regard to taxes.
Yeah.
The county seized their property, sold it for far less than market value, but gave them the difference. You know, they still cleared like $70,000, but they could have cleared like $170,000. So their argument was that they should get the fair market value. And the Supreme Court says, no, the Constitution doesn't have anything to do about like fair market value. It just says you're entitled to whatever proceeds there are.
Okay.
And they said, but that assumes that the sale was done fairly and done properly. And we're not judging whether or not that happened here. We're sending it back for the lower courts to determine whether or not this sale was actually valid to begin with.
Oh.
And it may not have been because apparently they had already had this dispute resolved and the county like blew past it and went after them again.
I think Pacific Legal was part of the team representing that family, because I got an email from them and they were not happy with the ruling at all.
Yeah, but I think that there's a good reason for it, and I will say this. Like, think about it this way. If every time, I mean, there's a long history precedent of sales for tax, tax auctions, that sort of thing. If you have to dial it into fair market value, then a lot of times the tax authority is basically going to lose its money.
Mm-hmm.
You're injecting a big variable into it, and if you look at the wording of the Constitution, it's not in there. So that would be reading into it an element of fairness that's just not there. Mm-hmm. So, and the bottom line is it's not the end of the road for them, because they can challenge whether or not the sale should have ever happened to begin with. And it sounds like they may have pretty good grounds for that. Okay. So not the end of it. But the one that I wrote up that I actually spent a little bit of time with was Blanche versus Lau. This has to do with a Chinese national who was here. He was a lawful permanent resident. He had a green card. He was accused of counterfeiting. What was it called? Counterfeit. There's a word for it. Basically, like fake clothing.
Okay.
Fake Gucci purses. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was
counterfeit stuff.
Counterfeit stuff.
Yeah.
He was charged with that. He left the country before he went to trial on that. But he did come back. But at the border, when he came back, they said, well, there's this charge. So they paroled him into the country instead of treating him as somebody who was lawfully admitted, which, they still let him come into the country. But the bottom line is it made it easier to remove him then. And he's saying, no, I was a green card holder. You should have had to have a higher standard of proof to treat me like someone who could be removed. And they said, no, you're charged with a crime of moral turpitude, which he ultimately pled guilty to, by the way. And the court said, yeah, the border people don't have to, at the border, come up with like a trial situation where they're going, oh, we've got clear and convincing evidence. If the person in question is, has been charged with or convicted of committing this crime, they don't have to be treated like, with kid gloves.
So it doesn't
basically
require a conviction. It just, the charges can weigh in on this.
I think it ultimately does. So here's the thing. It was in the process, so you can't backdate it. But had he been exonerated, then that might have been, or, not found guilty or not pleaded guilty, that might be a different equation. You have to have committed the crime, but they aren't, the border officials aren't charged with making that determination, like a legal determination at the moment of entry. That's a standard that's not there. So they basically, the Supreme Court basically said the Second Circuit got it wrong, and they, it was okay to remove this guy.
So it was okay to remove this guy. So this would be a win for the Trump administration's policies then.
Correct. I mean, it all unfolded years ago, but they, because it was argued this term before the Supreme Court, the Trump administration was the one arguing for, you shouldn't have this additional standard that you have to meet at, while you're evaluating someone coming back into the country.
Yeah, so the idea of innocent until proven guilty is a criminal thing, but that isn't necessarily an immigration thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah. So those were the five. Again, like I said, there's the birthright citizenship one, I think, is the one that people are really kind of like got an eye on and anxious to see what it's going to be. But there is the transgender athletics one. Mm-hmm. That's going to be big. There's the deadline for counting mail-in ballots one.
Yeah.
That's going to be big. There, as I mentioned, is temporary protected status, whether or not it really can be temporary. And there's also whether the president who appoints independent agency leaders can then remove independent agency leaders and under what circumstances.
Yeah, I was going to say, and to me, it sounds like the biggest reason is why could he remove them and under what circumstances,
Right.
and when can he and when
can
can
you
he
really
not?
limit that sort of thing? So it gets to the heart of executive power.
Yeah, because there are some agencies that are set up to be independent. And so there is some that where they want a buffer between that to immunize it from some political stuff. So it sounds like, okay, so how far does that go versus the actually elected people who are responsible?
More or
for
less.
these?
And there's two cases. There's one involving an FTC commissioner and one involving a Federal Reserve Board governor. So it's kind of two different types of agencies. And so it's going to be kind of an interesting delve into the extent of executive power versus legislative, that sort of thing. So it's going to be kind of a legal wonky one, but interesting.
Yeah, it will with implications not just for the Trump administration.
Absolutely.
Because, he wants to hire and fire people at will. He does it at a much faster pace, but this would affect every future president.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, something just dawned on me.
What's that?
Today's Wednesday, which means that would make today
Bump Day!
Which means, of course, this is the day where I am requesting all of your 80s bump music requests for Flashback Friday. Send me what you want to hear and which hour you listen so you can hear your request to Jerome at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Mike Ferguson in the morning
They were drinking water out of the toilet.
on News Talk STL. From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Today marks the beginning of an active period of weather with on and off rain and storms all the way through Saturday. So humidity on the rise through the day. Let's be ready for hit and miss rain and storms midday into the afternoon and early evening. Our high at 83. Partly cloudy and dry tonight, down to 69 for a mild low. Thursday starts out dry, but rain and storms move in through the afternoon, linger into Thursday night. Some heavy rain and pockets of flooding are possible. 85 for the high tomorrow. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Cap Pastrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too. On Manchester at McKnight and Rock Hill, and now in Creve Coeur on Olive, just 1 mile west of 270. Tim Jones here from my great friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. How do I know? Simply put, they've helped me on many occasions. Here's another solution to your everyday aches and pains. The Studio Health and Wellness Center. Services include Pilates and yoga, both with certified instructors. I can also highly recommend the massage therapy, which is not an indulgence. It's a proven method of healing and restoration. Trust my friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka. CChiropractic.com. That's CChiropractic.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
News, analysis, opinion.
The midterms are coming up.
This is a tough political environment.
We have Democrats that are more interested in protecting illegals and criminals.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. Hope you had enough time to freshen up your coffee, because now we're back with Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, looks like the socialist wing of the Democratic Party remains the driving force in that party and of the left.
So.
With that, I mean, communists had a big day in New York, and again, I'm not trying to be flippant on it. That's really where they're at right now. Mm-hmm. So let's get into what happened in those elections in New York, because this wasn't they beat the Republicans, they beat the Democrats. So this shows that the direction of the Democratic Party continues to lurch far, far, far left. But between the elections, what else is going on? Oh, wars. Maybe, maybe not, yeah. And then actually a good news thing here and there. RedState.com has it all covered. So, Susie, what are we looking for today at Red State?
This is the Red State Rundown.
First up today from Red State, from Jerry Wilson, we've got introducing a radical new concept. Sports reporting actually reporting on sports. So Jerry's kind of our sports go-to guy, and I think he's kind of springboarding off the whole MLB controversy and talking about how, like, sports media has kind of gotten off track and is into, like, the gossip and entertainment aspect of it, as opposed to actually writing on the games themselves.
Yeah, but going off into the woke current issues, that was great for Keith Olbermann's career, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look how far he's come.
See, Jerome, there was this guy named Keith Olbermann once. Nobody's ever heard of him for years.
This is an interesting one from Bob Hogue. It's a VIP article. It's titled "The Death of the Teen Summer Job and How Progressive Policies Helped Kill It." So Bob's just kind of taking a closer look at, how different it is now and how much harder it is for teens to get just basic entry-level jobs because of the way that, the insistence on raising the minimum wage and all that sort of
kind of the thing that killed work study and killed internships.
Yep. And then Bob has also got this one. Former LAFD chief hits Karen Bass with blistering defamation suit alleging the mayor lied through her teeth. So this is the continued fallout from the fires, and basically the fire chief got thrown under the bus by Karen Bass, and now she's clapping back.
Yeah, and this is kind of like that meme with the Spider-Man pointing at himself.
Yes.
It's like, no, you're the lying, corrupt one. I know you are, but what am I?
I'm with the chief on this one, just for what it's worth. I think she did get thrown under the bus, and so good for her.
This is the same chief who was like, well, if you need me to carry you out of a burning house, well, you got yourself in that situation.
That wasn't her.
That wasn't her?
No,
this was a different
this is a different one.
Okay, okay. Glad to clarify that, yeah. So, what a mess. And I think, I'm going to guess Karen Bass is about to get reelected.
Well, yeah.
I mean, because it's her against, like,
Nithya.
Another, So I think Karen Bass is.
Yeah, I think between the two of them, Karen probably does better than Nithya. But I mean, who knows?
Yeah. All right. Jerome and I were talking, a little bit before we went on the air, and I told him, I said, this whole thing in New York was interesting because you had some leftist Congress critters get replaced by fringe leftist, avowed socialist leftist. And you referenced that line in one of the Star Wars movies, basically, with thunderous applause. This is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause, which was one of the best lines in a movie, that I've seen written in the last who knows how many years. That was a great, great, great line. But I was watching some of the video of the, let's be honest, a lot of the younger Democratic voters really excited about these communists. And just, I mean, we're talking terrorist embracing, hugging communists that won. And it brings up a couple questions. One is, does this just confirm what we in right-wing media has been saying is like, listen, the Democratic Party are full-on admitted socialist at this point, and this is the direction. Is Zoran Mamdani the new face of the left and the face of the Democratic Party in America?
I think it's a fair question to ask. I will say that my first tweet this morning was, if I hadn't left the Democratic Party 22 years ago, I'd be running like hell from it now.
So let's look at what happened here, because we're not talking about, they took another little step to the left. That ain't it.
It's not just a step to the left. It's a giant leap, Rocky Horror.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I said that and I was almost hearing the music to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's what I just said. It was a giant leap, Rocky Horror.
That's right. Yeah, so let's go over, because I knew you were writing and you were following this last night on Red State.
I was.
Yeah, what do we got?
I was the editor on the desk. So the big news out of New York, of course, was Dan Goldman, who I can't stand. I mean, he's
Right.
like one of the most odious creatures I've ever encountered. But he got ousted by Brad Lander in a district that has a very heavy Jewish population, but apparently, Goldman wasn't anti-Israel enough, and Lander is, even though he's Jewish too. They're both Jewish, but it didn't matter. You had to be pro-Palestinian, I guess, to
And it wasn't
get
even
the
just
approval.
pro-Palestinian. It was like
an anti-Israel.
Yeah, anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, and essentially pro-Hamas, basically, to some degree.
Yeah, and Lander has played that game, so
Yeah.
goody. He gets to, I guess, take it. So it's like, it's not that I'm sad to see Goldman go, because as I said, I think he's odious, but Lander's not an improvement by any stretch. He's just a far left activist, and if the name sounds vaguely familiar, he's like the comptroller. He's the one who kind of got like carried out of he was there protesting over immigration enforcement and like getting carried out by ICE officers because he was mixing it up with them and getting in their faces and stuff.
Was this at the one in New Jersey where?
No, not at the New Jersey facility. This was he's in New York.
In New York, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so he got there was a scuffle maybe 6 months ago that he was in the middle of.
So that's street cred to a lot of these fringe voters.
Well, right. No, and he's very much in the Mamdani camp. Another one of his Mamdani's handpicked, and I can't think of her name, but she's the one who's basically saying she needed a napkin, so she reached for the American flag. I mean, these people hate America and hate the Democratic Party, but they're part of the Democratic Party. I saw, what's his name? Jamie, who's the Democratic, it's not Harrison. I don't know. One of the DNC folks was like, hey, if you hate a party, maybe you shouldn't be part of that party. And it's like, sorry, buddy, too late. They're yours.
Chevalier was one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't she lose?
Let's see here. New York 13, Mamdani-backed Chevalier wins primary.
Okay,
But check out who likely put over. Yeah, so, yeah.
Bottom line is...
Yeah, Daria Aliza Avila Chevalier.
Okay.
Moved on to the general election, where these are very, very blue districts, so, she's going to be the next Congress.
Yeah, there was never going to be a Republican in the mix. It's just that the Democrats that they're picking are the far left progressive variety, the Marxists. And so, we're just seeing that over and over.
She beat the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a heavy Hispanic district, and yet the chair of the caucus got ousted.
So are the identity politics not what they used to be in American politics, and it's ideological tribe now?
I think that what is trumping everything, pun intended, is because the progressive left and the Mamdani wing, the AOC wing, is seen as being the most strident pushback against Donald Trump and the right wing. That's what people are gravitating towards. I think it's an anti-Trump movement almost as much as anything else. Okay. And then it's got the overlay of the progressive Marxist policies, the wokeness, it just kind of all goes hand in hand. But I think the energy is in large part coming because these are the people that are pushing back against the establishment, which has gone along in some respects with, kind of the traditional political, back and forth.
Yeah, it's still so fascinating because I still don't believe, and some of our Democratic and leftist viewers and listeners, you guys please chime in on this. Maybe it's just because of my frame of reference here in flyover country in the Midwest, but I still don't believe that most Democrats are fringe far left communist. The
ones I know are not.
I just don't believe that. I think that they're I think they're farther to the left than they used to be 20, 25 years ago. I think that's the case. I think the days of Ike Skelton and even Dick Gephardt, who we considered a radical leftist back then, but he would be right in the middle today and probably would be one of the people they were running out of office today.
Oh, 100% he would be.
Even like a Russ Carnahan or somebody like that, they wouldn't survive in today's Democratic Party.
No, a lot of the millennials and Gen Z that I know that are on the left, they openly support like the social democrat ideology. So I think it's more so you see a lot. You see a little bit more of it with like the people that are Gen X and Boomer age that support this stuff, but it's really starting to take hold with people that are around my age, a little bit older, and definitely younger.
Right, because they haven't spent all those years kind of as part of the traditional Democratic Party.
Mhm.
There's, and they're going where the energy is. I mean, it's kind of self-reinforcing, where the energy gets generated and then people gravitate towards it, and it kind of self-reinforces. So what we're having right now is, the split on the right was the pull over to basically Trumpian
Populism,
Republican,
yeah.
version of Republicanism as opposed to the traditional establishment Republicans. And then on the left, you're seeing this wild swing to the far left, because I don't think the Trump movement is far right. I think it's populist.
I think Trump moved the Republican Party away from the traditional conservative base and more to the populist middle. It's not. I mean, Trump is not really an ideologue. He's not a conservative, but he's a populist, and that was that coalition he built. But I've argued on the air before, and like Tony Kennett and some of the others, I think, agree with me on this, is that when Trump defeated the far left, he also defeated the conservative movement as much as he defeated the far left.
Oh, yeah.
So what you're seeing then on the left is, but it is a far left version of that movement that's actually got the energy and where people are gravitating. And I mean, that's playing in New York City, in the deep blue enclaves. Is that the same as what we see here in Missouri when the Democrats? Not as much, but it's just it's shades.
Is there an argument to be made that let's find out in August when Cori Bush and Wesley Bell tangle in the primary?
I mean, yeah. Do we really think that's going to be competitive?
I don't think it will, but could we be shocked? I guess anything's possible. But I think here in this area, I think Democrats are like, no, we're going to get the same votes from both of you. Maybe we don't go with the crazy person.
Yeah. I don't even think that's going to be close.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I agree with you. So if you're wrong, I'm going to be wrong with you. But I don't see Democrats going back to that here, whereas a Cori Bush type would have been somebody who got elected in fringe New York City or parts of California.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. What we're also agreed on is that, Friday's going to be a big day because it is our 5th birthday celebration. We're going to be out at Frankie Martin's Garden in St. Charles in Cottleville celebrating. We want you to come join us. The party is at Frankie Martin's Garden Friday night, June 26th with the 80s tribute band, the Retro Nerds. The party's all ages. It goes from 7 to 10 p.m. on the outside stage. Stop by and see us at the NewsTalkSTL Pavilion near the stage. Frankie Martin's Garden is the place for and about community in Cottleville. It's in Cottleville, Missouri. Go to their website, go to the Retro Nerds website, go to NewsTalkSTL to check it out. Come out Friday night and party with us.
Yes.
All right, you guys have heard me talk about Windows before in Window World. Well, I am back to talk to you about them again because they are one of only 2 replacement windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, and they're ranked number 1 in the country for number of windows sold by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They've been doing this for over 20 years. They've been helping to improve the look and energy efficiency of more than 80,000 homes right here in St. Louis. And the St. Louis location has been owned, operated, and managed by born and raised St. Louisans for more than 23 years. So if you've been thinking about new windows, you can call today for a free home estimate at 1-800-GET-WINDOWS. What I like about Window World is the product itself. Their windows are durable, they're secure, they're energy efficient, and they're built with double strength glass, which is something you don't typically see in replacement windows. And you're covered with a lifetime warranty, which includes parts, glass, breakage, and labor. That is a big deal. They don't just do windows either. Window World can also help with siding and doors, basically everything on the exterior of your home except roofs or garage doors. And here's something a lot of companies don't offer. Their customer service team is available 7 days a week. That means including weekends. And it shows. Over half of their appointments come from repeat customers or referrals, which tells you a lot about their commitment to customer service. Plus, they're big in the community. They've helped raise over $4 million over the years for charities like Action for Autism and St. Jude, and they are the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Right now, they're offering 36 months save as cash financing with approved credit. So if you've been putting it off, now is a great time to act. Call Window World at 1-800-GET-WINDOWS.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
Looking for unbelievable deals? Stop by Overstock Outlet in Lake St. Louis or Warrenton. Open 7 days a week. Discover big savings on a huge variety of merchandise with no hassle. Just great prices. Visit us in Lake St. Louis on Highway N or in Warrenton on Boones Lake. Check out our Facebook page at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis or go online to overstockoutletstl.com. Unbeatable value, friendly service, and you never know what we'll have at Overstock Outlet.
Dr. Michael Lewis, West Point grad, physician, and retired Army colonel, is considered the world's leading expert on the use of omega-3s in brain health. He's also the author of When Brains Collide. Dr. Lewis, a lot of people take fish oil supplements, but how do you know they're working if you're not testing?
Elizabeth, I've come across the biggest breakthrough in my 30-plus years of medicine. What if you could test yourself at home to see if your fish oil supplements are actually working? And then have the right product, a combination of fish oil and olive oil, a perfect Mediterranean diet in a bottle delivered right to your doorstep. This is the answer to the American ultra-processed food diet. Email me at test@brainhealtheducation.org. That's test@brainhealtheducation.org.
Email Dr. Lewis today at test@brainhealtheducation.org and take the first step toward a healthier brain. Your future self will thank you. That's test@brainhealtheducation.org.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
I love that you're starting your day off right with Mike Ferguson in the Morning. It's your boy Joe Pags. Talk to you tonight. But now let's get back to Mike.
All right, things got ugly at the St. Louis County Council meeting yesterday. I'll give you the update on what happened there. The Fringe, as we were just talking about, had a pretty big night in New York. So here's the question. Can Democrats continue to win on a platform of overt socialism? We're talking about across the country. One of the non-fringe Democrats weighs in on that. And a longtime St. Louis Blue not going to be playing for the Blues anymore.
Uh-oh.
Big trade news happened. All right, 6:51 right now. Let's do a news dump here.
The Morning News Dump brought to you by the Nutrition Stop. The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The Morning News Dump.
Tuesday's St. Louis County Council meeting got so tense that the chambers were cleared and some council members wanted Executive Sam Page removed. He was not. At issue was a bill to fund contracts for nurses working at the county jail and at the juvenile detention center. The current funding runs out next week, and county officials say medical care in the jails is being scaled back in the meantime. The council chambers were cleared when things got heated between the audience and some council members, and also between Sam Page and Chair Rita Hurd Days. The council could vote on the funding as early as tomorrow.
Every time you say that the chambers were cleared, it makes me think of in the baseball sense of the bleachers getting cleared, the dugout. They're all rushing
It's
and
kind of a
fighting.
fascinating visual.
That would be so cool.
That'd be amazing.
I mean, no, that would be bad. I mean, that's
undignified.
No, don't ever do that.
Definitely don't do that.
No, but make sure cameras are rolling if you do.
For sure.
Federal judge on Monday blocking the Trump administration from utilizing the overhauled voter verification system, ruling that the database, which links citizenship and Social Security records, the judge is ruling that unlawfully exposes private information and has already resulted in eligible citizens being wrongly purged from voter rolls. That's what the judge was ruling on that. House Judiciary Committee Chairman, that'd be Congressman Jim Jordan, defending the program. He was on Fox's The Ingram Angle, characterizing the move as a matter of common sense and election integrity.
Simply let them match up lists. Now, a bunch of red states sent in their lists. Some blue states did. And what they find? Thousands of people were on the voter registration list in states that were not citizens. That's what he's trying to get at. And this judge says no. Somehow that tramples on rights? No.
Okay, so bottom line question is, were citizens and valid voters purged and removed from voter rolls because of this?
I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah. I can tell you that Judge Sparkle Suknanen, who is the one who ruled on this, yes, that is her name, is going to be appealed. And this is another one of those back and forth tussles between, who has the power to do, what. And so this is going to be an interesting one to watch.
And there's also an aspect of constitutionally who's in charge of running elections.
Yes. Yeah.
States or federal government. For the most part, conservatives used to point out that was a states thing.
Correct. But there is there is federal overlay. And the question is, where do those boundaries get drawn? That's what the Supreme Court's wrestling with now about the mail-in ballots.
Yep.
So there's so much about this that's fascinating from a structural standpoint and from a law nerd standpoint.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio visiting the United Arab Emirates, and he's meeting with Gulf allies there to discuss the U.S.-Iran peace agreement. Speaking with reporters, the secretary says good groundwork's been laid out, but a lot of work remains.
I think there's a framework and an outline upon which we can make real progress. I think good groundwork was laid over the last 72 hours, but a lot of work remains to be done, and we want to hear from our partners. We want to make sure that their views are taken into account, and we understand their security concerns, their regional economic concerns as well.
Iran publicly rejected multiple claims made by the Trump administration regarding the terms of the deal and is denying that nuclear inspectors will be allowed into their country, which I would think is kind of an important part of this entire discussion here. I would think
so.
Hakeem Jeffries has thoughts on this.
I don't care.
Well, I'm going to play them for you anyway.
Higher gas prices and higher food prices that can be directly attributed to the Trump Republican reckless war of choice in Iran.
See, he has thoughts on it.
Bully.
Okay. All right. As we were just discussing, former New York City Comptroller Brad Lander and New York State Assemblywoman Claire Valdez win their congressional primary elections after getting the backing of Mayor Zoran Mamdani. Both left-wing candidates are, as we know, very anti-Israel, very, very anti-Semitic, and they are critics of the war against Hamas, literally against terrorists. And on Fox's Hannity, Pennsylvania Democratic Senator John Fetterman says that these wins are evidence that voters are rejecting centrist and pro-Israel lawmakers from both sides.
These are emerging, the full pro-Hamas wing. You know, a lot of these candidates that very likely are going to win tonight just declaring a war on just regular Democrats.
Lander defeated incumbent Congressman Dan Goldman. Goldman was backed by a variety of groups, including AIPAC, which has drawn the ire of left-wing, basically communist Democrats. Mayor Mamdani recently called the group monsters for their support of our ally in the Middle East, which he calls genocide because that's who and what Mamdani is.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. Jordan Kyrou, no longer a Blue.
Oh.
Yeah. He was traded to the Capitals on Tuesday. The Blues get a 16th round draft selection this year. They also get 2 forwards, Connor McMichael and Milton Gastrin. Kyrou has been a Blue for 9 seasons. He scored 168 goals for St. Louis, but he only had 18 last season. So there was a lot of, I think, frustration. It looks like they're moving on to younger players who don't have those huge contracts as well. Diamondbacks even up the series with the Cardinals. Arizona gets the win at Busch Stadium last night. Final score 4-3. Tonight's game starts at 6:45 with Matthew Liberatore on the mound. And there's a press conference that's been called by the Cardinals, which isn't necessarily unusual, but the sports media around town is kind of going something's different. There's a little bit of a buzz. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals have said this involves the ownership of the team. Now, they're not saying what that means. We'll know a little bit later on today, but they're saying that they're going to be discussing or they're going to be announcing something that is about literally the St. Louis Cardinals ownership. Interesting stuff.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. One unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Hey, folks, Jamie Allman here for Newsteader's Fine Jewelry right there at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend, wowdiamonds.com. It's Wow Diamonds for a reason. These are beautiful lab-grown diamonds. They are gorgeous. They will blind you when you walk in and see them, but that's a good thing. Great engagement sets, wedding sets, all these beautiful God-created gems, sapphires, rubies, you name it, garnets, and also all the gold you need, and the famous Bull of a Watch, wowdiamonds.com.
Looking to celebrate the 4th of July with a bang? Then look no further than Powder Monkey Fireworks. We've got bottle rockets, fountains, cakes, mortars. Our selection is endless with low prices and no gimmicks. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff will help you choose the perfect fireworks to make your holiday unforgettable. You'll go bananas at Powder Monkey, Highway 94 in St. Charles, on Westwood in Weldon Spring, and on Brendel in Rocky Mount. Don't want to fight the crowds? Order online at powdermonkeyfireworks.com.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline.
Hello, Kirk Ilsinger, chairman of the Republican Party for the city of St. Louis, and we believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. I invite you to our meetings the first Thursday of every month. Learn more at stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
This hour from Town Hall, I'm Rich Thomason. Inspection of Iran's nuclear enrichment sites is a key element of the U.S.-Iran agreement to end the war, but now there's a dispute over whether inspections have actually been agreed to. Tehran says they have not, while the UN's chief nuclear watchdog says they have. President Trump says a 100% inspection regimen is part of the deal. That's not the only issue where the two sides don't see eye to eye.
Money that will be taken out of Iran is going to go to our farmers to give corn, soybeans, wheat to Iran.
President Trump claims the interim deal to end the war with Iran will deliver a financial windfall to American farmers, as Iranian financial assets are unfrozen. Vice President J.D. Vance explaining Monday,
if there is any frozen Iranian assets that are unfrozen, then we have approval over that process.
But Iran's UN ambassador in Geneva, Ali Bahraini, rejects the notion.
Iran is the only country who decides what to do with those assets.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
President Trump has a private luncheon today with GOP senators on Capitol Hill. He's been pressing lawmakers to approve his voter integrity proof of citizenship bill, among other agenda items. Republican Senator John Cornyn of Texas saying that if we're going to win the midterm elections, we need to get on the same page. New York City's Democrat Socialist mayor won big in yesterday's primary elections. All three congressional candidates endorsed by Mayor Zohran Mamdani advanced. Also, South Carolina's Attorney General Alan Wilson, who's backed by President Trump, is the winner of South Carolina's GOP gubernatorial primary. November's midterms will determine control of both chambers of Congress and will see the election of dozens of governors and other state and local officials. Wall Street, Dow futures up 77 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-926-5959. That's 800-926-5959. 800-926-5959.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Today marks the beginning of an active period of weather with on and off rain and storms all the way through Saturday. So humidity on the rise through the day. Let's be ready for hit and miss rain and storms midday into the afternoon and early evening. Our high at 83. Partly cloudy and dry tonight, down to 69 for a mild low. Thursday starts out dry, but rain and storms move in through the afternoon, linger into Thursday night. Some heavy rain and pockets of flooding are possible. 85 for the high tomorrow. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Window World of St. Louis. For replacement windows, doors, and siding, call 800-GET-WINDOWS. That's 800-GET-WINDOWS.
1 in 4 women will have an abortion before the age of 45 in this country. That's the tragedy we must work to stop. Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show here, and that is why Reach Reproductive Health is here, to empower parents to save the lives of innocent children and to see these families come to Christ. And you can be a part of saving and changing lives. So pray and visit outreachforlife.org to learn more, volunteer, and donate. That's outreachforlife.org.
Got scrap metal, junk cars, or old appliances taking up space? Turn that clutter into cash. Since 1968, 21 Recycling and Scrap Metal has been the area's trusted name for recycling. We buy copper, brass, aluminum cans, scrap iron, wheels, catalytic converters, AC units, water heaters, washers, dryers, and yes, junk cars too. With our brand new truck scale on premises, getting paid is fast and easy. Old Highway 21 by Highway M or 21-recycling.com.
Mike Ferguson.
What is that private pile? Sir, jelly donuts, sir. A jelly donut?
Susie Moore.
Mama don't like tattletales.
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, things got chippy, shall we say?
Spicy,
Yeah.
salty.
At the St. Louis County Council meeting on
hungry.
Tuesday. Okay, let's come up with some more. Some more adjectives here: chippy, spicy, salty,
Zesty.
Yeah, that's
That's a
good.
good one.
Yeah.
Again, I'm hungry. I could use some chips and salsa right about now.
It got so intense at one point that the chambers were actually cleared, and some on the St. Louis County Council wanted Sam Page removed from the chambers. No, don't get me wrong; they always want him removed from the chambers, but they were like, "Hey, this guy out." What we got? Okay.
I was hearing something in the background.
Oh, sorry. Yes. But he was not removed from it. So here's what was going on. There was a matter of budgeting, and you would think, okay, bunch of numbers crunching. Politicians. That's what you're elected to do.
Sure.
But it had to do with nurses at the two jails, the juvenile detention center, then the regular county jail, because the contracts are up at the end of the month.
Okay.
So that's just part of the annual budgeting stuff. And you're thinking, well, what the heck happened? So a lot of people, showed up, different advocacy groups and stuff like that, saying when somebody's in custody, you have to have the medical care, which is true.
Sure.
Yeah. By the way, when somebody is in jail or they're detained, there's a specific term. We say they are in custody. That actually doesn't just mean they got handcuffs on them. That actually is a legal requirement.
You're legally
on the
responsible for them.
The government is now responsible for you. That is custody, and so there is actually something to this. Now, and here's the thing: nobody on the county council, from any of the conversations that I saw or any of the articles, nobody is saying we don't want to fund the nurses and renew their contracts.
No,
that's not the issue. And apparently, things got real heated between some of the speakers who were there saying you need to approve this $2.89 million, whatever it was, contract, which you're talking about a couple of dozen nurses for the entire year and the expenses related to that. So I don't think the number is out of line. That doesn't seem like that's a crazy number for full-time staff of medical care at two different jails. And Rita Hurd Days, the chair of the council, is saying, yeah, it's not about that. We've got a process. We've got questions on the spending from the health department director who's in charge of all this.
We want them to ask those questions.
We have tried to meet with her, and it hasn't worked out. She didn't accuse her of canceling her. She just said we haven't been able to meet with her. And so until we get our questions answered, we want to hold off until we know where every dime is being spent.
Makes sense to me.
I think both sides are saying something that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But there's the impetus. What's going to happen until this is renewed is that they are scaling back to just emergency only care instead of like the routine, more comprehensive care that's with people who are in custody. And so the activists and the folks who are speaking, and I'm not saying activists in a negative way right now, they're advocating for their thing. A lot of people aren't going to have a lot of sympathy, because, well, your brother's in jail. What'd he do to get in jail? I guess he gets what he deserves. But there's more to it than that. These are legal requirements, and I would say they're also moral requirements when somebody's in custody. If we assume you're innocent until proven guilty, then there are duties there. But it got so bad, people getting at each other, that they had to clear everybody out. They didn't just pick out, hey, you're being out of line, you got to go. It was everybody out.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Who decides to clear? Who makes that decision? If the
it would have to be the chair. It'd have to be rid of her days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say yeah. And then I guess that I'm sure they've got some law enforcement officers that are there to kind of assist. And,
there's always going to be somebody who's doing security out there from the county police.
Sure.
Probably actually could be the county sheriff's office, I think, for that. Because the county has a sheriff's office the same way the city has a sheriff's office, kind of a similar thing.
But like Jerome, when I hear clear the chamber, I do envision like clearing the benches in baseball.
People rolling up their sleeves.
Yeah.
Like, why I oughta.
Well, I mean, we've seen people get scrappy.
Yeah.
It happens.
It's fine American tradition.
It's like West Side Story, except in Clayton.
Coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. I
want to see Mark Harder.
I don't think it's quite that elegant or musical.
No. And of course, there was one council member, which would be Lisa Clancy, who just like, well, let's just don't worry about the process, just approve the funding. Well, that's why nobody pays attention to her.
They keep electing her,
and it's the Richmond Heights Maplewood area. That's the area.
Like what does she do for you guys? I mean,
Nothing.
I don't get it.
But she's dumb leftist. She's like extremist. She's Webster Groves,
There's-
Maplewood, Richmond.
Those are a
Heights type of
dime
left.
a dozen in that
I
area, so
know.
it's not like she's the only person. I guess is my
I know.
point.
Yeah. So here's what we're looking at now is then they were like, because rid of her days and apparently Sam Page locked horns.
Go figure.
Right. And this is a county council meeting. This is not the entire St. Louis County government meeting. Obviously, the county executive has a seat in the chambers.
Sure.
But they're the ones in charge.
There he is right now.
Yeah. There's on the screen. Yeah. And so Sam Page has not figured out, not only are you lame duck, nobody pays attention to you anymore. And so all you're doing is creating chaos and getting in the way of a Democratic majority who's actually one of the few Democratic majorities that's fiscally sane and working with fiscal conservatives and trying to manage money in the best way possible.
Mike, you don't understand. Fiscal sanity is so last year.
I know. Yeah.
It's so passé. It's oppressive. Fiscal sanity.
That's right. Probably.
It's racist. It's oppressive.
Oh, man. So they're hoping to meet with Dr. Cunningham, who's the health department director, today.
Okay.
And then they could vote on this part of the budget, the allocation of it, tomorrow, and still then get through there. But, you've got one side says, just approve the contract. We have to do this. It's urgent. It's time sensitive, which it is urgent and time sensitive.
Yeah.
And it is a legitimate function of government.
But do it right.
The other side says, yeah, but we're going to do it right. That's exactly what it comes down to. So, hats off to Republicans and Democrats on the council who are saying, you know what, cool your jets. Let's go through this line by line and get a few questions. They didn't even accuse the administration of anything untoward.
No, they're not even saying like they were
No.
stonewalling them. They're just saying they hadn't had a chance to really
Right.
have...
And there was a meeting and then somebody got canceled and it didn't happen. And so I know from having conversations with people in county government that there's friction there. There's, and I mean, with some of the folks who are appointed, there's not as much confidence in her as I think that Sam Page wants to tell everybody there is. But they're simply saying, the Democrats are saying, we need to know where all of this money is going. And this is one of those things where R or D doesn't matter. Rid of her days is right.
Isn't it fascinating, though, that we're at a point in our history where asking for financial accountability, not even like reining in spending, just let's make sure we know where the money is being spent, regardless of how you feel about whether it's being spent on what. is controversial and somehow has become partisan, such that even Democrats who are calling for fiscal accountability are somehow being, like, bad-mouthed and basically, like shoved over to the right. It's like patriotism and financial accountability should not be partisan.
No.
At all.
These aren't ideological things.
They're not.
The one is just should be a core value. The other is just administration.
Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to know where their money is going?
Grifters.
I guess.
The people who are getting it.
That's the only thing I can figure out. But I mean, like, any normal person wants to have a pretty good idea of what they're spending their money on.
Right.
I don't understand why they wouldn't want their government to be doing the same thing. That shouldn't be controversial at all.
No, not in the least bit.
It shouldn't prompt fights in the council chamber.
No, but if it's going to, then at least make sure the cameras are on.
Please at least do that.
Is that too much to ask?
No, it's not at all. No, I don't think it is at all. I really don't. Well, while local communities spar over data centers and the economic development and costs that come with them, some state lawmakers want a special session to address the questions. We're going to tell you what's happening with that at 7:20.
You have a soul so dark, it is no more. And all at once depart, no destination. Making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I like it, but they're going a little overboard with the dancing.
On News Talk STL.
All right, now I want to talk to you guys a little bit about food and drink. I was saying I was hungry earlier. I meant it. I really am hungry. And if you're hungry, if you're trying to figure out where you might want to go for lunch today or dinner later, where you want to meet up with friends, I have the perfect place for you. It's great fun and great food from the heart of West County for over 20 years, Harpo's Chesterfield. It's the perfect neighborhood bar. It's close. It's convenient. It's got a great sports bar atmosphere. If you're thinking about, hey, where am I going to go watch the next Cardinals game? Or where am I going to go watch the next U.S. World Cup game? Not U.S. Cup. World Cup game. Well, you can go to Harpo's. They, as I said, have a great sports bar atmosphere. They've got great food, too. Great burgers. You guys know I love their burgers. But it isn't just that. They've got all kinds of food. They've got great daily food specials. Wednesdays, let's see, I think that's the strip steak. It's like a 10-ounce strip steak plus 2 sides for, I don't know, like $13, $14. It's very, very reasonable. You can check out all of their specials at their website, which is harposstl.com. They've got special events that they'll let you know about on their Facebook and their Instagram pages. They've got friendly, energetic staff. They deliver fun, food, and drinks like no one else. And whether you're dining in or carrying out, you want to make Harpo's Chesterfield your go-to. So like I said, go visit their website, harposstl.com. Check out their daily food and drink specials, or check out their events and what's coming up next at Harpo's Chesterfield on Facebook or Instagram.
Colombo and Company.
Join us every day for conversations with a wide variety of guests as we keep you informed and up to speed on all the important news and headlines you need to know.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli. We're sitting here with our great friend, Chris Cooper. Hi, Chris.
What's going on, Vic? How are you?
I hear you wrote another book. This one's an e-book. Is that right?
The Business Owner's Playbook for Financial Clarity. So it is a great book for entrepreneurs, a very short guide. Give people, business owners, the ability to understand key questions that are important, such as succession planning, legacy planning, getting the IRS out of our pockets, right? Because do you like paying taxes?
I do not.
I don't think anybody likes paying taxes, right? That just makes sense. And then always talking about protection. And then the other thing from a business owner perspective, what is the biggest asset a business owner has? Probably their business itself, right? We need to make sure we understand what the value of that business is as well.
So this new book, I'm sure, is incredibly expensive, right? How much?
No, it's a free resource.
Oh, it's free.
We provide guidance, we provide education, because we want to make sure people feel educated and understanding, because sometimes you don't know what questions to ask, and we need to make sure we help arm people with information to ask the right question.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Oh, Adam, you are so romantic. And I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby. Only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh, no. It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
And listen anytime, anywhere.
let's get back to all this madcap mayhem with Mike Ferguson in the morning. But don't forget, stick around for Jones and Arps every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m.
All right, last year a special session was called on the Missouri side to focus on handing out, corporate welfare for sports teams.
Yeah.
Republicans are getting a lot of good stuff done last year or so. That ain't one of them.
Mm-mm.
You guys missed it on that one. That was a bad one. But could a special session get called this year to address data center stuff? All right, 7:19 right now. That's Susie. That's Jerome. My name's Mike. And the reason I'm asking here is because it looks like, let's see here, 16 different state lawmakers, members of the House of Representatives, are signing on to a letter from Representative Donald Mayhew, and they're asking Governor Kehoe to call a special session to deal with data centers. And not necessarily to deal, as I'm reading his letter, not to deal with any particular project, not to deal with any particular data center or centers, but basically what he's arguing and what those who are signing on to this are arguing are saying state law isn't up to date on how the regulations or permissions should be in Missouri, because data centers are obviously something that there's a demand for so much that these tech companies, they want to basically build them as fast as they can.
Right.
And so we're seeing the arguments all over, not just Missouri, but we're seeing them in Illinois. We're seeing them all over the country. And the questions are fair questions. You've got questions about the amount of utilities that they're using as far as water and as far as electricity, and who's going to pay for it, and what are the publicly regulated utilities going to be allowed to do and not do, and how does this affect consumers? So you got some consumer stuff. And then, you've got, obviously land usage and zoning and all this kind of stuff, and different levels of counties and stuff like that. So there are a lot of fair questions about this. But does that mean that there should be a special session called?
That's what I'm struggling with, because while I think it's an important issue, usually when I think of a special session, I think of it in terms of, okay, we have a specific goal and a specific piece of legislation, or at least a pretty solid framework of what that is, that we need to get done, and we need to get it done now.
Right.
And this doesn't seem like that to me. This seems more like we need to take a look at this, and we need to come up with a plan about how we might want to deal with it, which I agree with, but that doesn't, to me, that's not a special session.
Right. Yeah, I that's how I'm coming around to this as well. I think the concerns laid out in Representative Mayhew's letter, I'm like, okay, I think there's some fair stuff in there. I mean, it's occasionally it's going to happen in history that there's some technology that advances so fast, and whether you want the government to have a light touch or to have a heavy hand or no contact at all, you need to lay out how your state government is going to deal with it, whatever that's going to be. That's fair. Data centers are massive changes in economic development and in all sorts of different areas. That's absolutely true. First of all, we've got 4 ballot issues to decide in less than 2 weeks. We've got a massive question on the November ballot. We've got midterm elections in the meantime. We've got the direction of the state and a lot of local questions on the ballot coming up here. It just seems like some of these big things, Amendment 4, Amendment 5, regardless of what you think of it, this is something that's going to pull away from that discussion, that debate. And to your point, Susie, I don't see what kind of regulatory framework or state laws or consumer protection you're going to show up and go, okay, guys, what should we do? And have it done in days or even a week or two.
No, and to your point about pulling away from the other discussion, we have 3 big ballot measures coming up, 2 in August, 1 in November. Now, obviously, the August ones will be a done deal by the time they would call a special session, I guess. Or, well, I guess it could be before September, I guess.
It could.
Okay. Well, those are all 3 things that Republicans fought long and hard to get to the point that they are. And they're flailing right now because the messaging on it stinks.
Yeah.
And I, for one, would rather see a lot of energy and impetus be put behind getting the messaging out there, getting people energized about voting for those measures that we've worked for years to get to this point, instead of moving on to something else that's going to get everybody else's attention. It's like the next shiny object when you haven't finish the work that you did on these other important issues.
Yeah. And it's not to say that there shouldn't be a discussion and there shouldn't be a look at what we do at data centers. I mean, again, look at Festus, look at Warrenton, look at Lincoln County, look at Mid-Missouri, although the Mid-Missouri one seems to have more consensus. Look at what's happening all over the state. And what's happening is these local governments are basically being told, figure it out. Now, sometimes local governments should be the ones to figure it out. But they're looking around and going, we don't know where the lanes are. We don't know where the bumpers are. We don't know where the guardrails are. And so we're figuring it out. And, even if the answer is the legislature says, no, the guardrails are, you figure it out under current law. Okay, that's fine. But I don't know that that's something you knock out in 3, 4, 5 days or 2 weeks. I think that's something that you go through an entire legislative session or two to figure out.
Kimberly, good morning, Kimberly, on Facebook says, amazing how the legislatures did not get our protections to the governor's desk first. The citizens have been backdoored on all levels by elected public servants, quote unquote, to open the doors for hyperscale, and it is harming the voters.
Hyperscale meaning the data centers, you mean?
Well, I think in terms of just the expansion of AI in general, because you have the data center discussion is not too far disconnected from the flock camera discussion and the traffic cam and license plate reader discussion. It all is going to mean you need data centers if you want to do that anyways. But there is a growing sentiment of you guys are allowing these things to be built. The genie's out of the bottle already. And now we're finding out that it doesn't seem like there was an actual committee of people coming together to say, okay, what's the best way to allow this to grow? It's now, we are growing and now we need to come up with something because people are furious.
I'm going to make sure I'm understanding Kimberly's comment. Basically, there aren't any stop signs already on the information highway.
That's what I'm getting.
Am I reading, Kimberly, am I reading that right? Send us another note. Am I reading that right here? There aren't any stop signs or there aren't any speed limits maybe on the information highway. And so the question is, okay, where do those go, or do they go somewhere? Because I do think it's fair to say these things have developed and the tech has developed so fast, and making laws takes so long for good reason that sometimes the issue outpaces what the politicians are doing. And I don't want politicians moving at lightning speed most of the time.
No.
I don't want that.
That's when mistakes get made.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be worth doing a special session just to at least save face for the public and say, look, we've actually taken some time to specifically discuss this issue and see what the, groundworks for whatever policies will be implemented coming up.
I think saving face is a terrible reason to have a special session.
Okay.
I think what would maybe be a better idea is to say, okay, we're going to make a big deal on appointing a very bipartisan, some kind of group that's going to go around like they did with the property tax thing, and we're going to go all over the states and we're going to take the heat and we're going to hear about this, and then we have a deadline to give a package of recommendations that the public can tear apart in end of June, that is going to be due before the holidays. So that's still a pretty good clip.
Yeah.
And then starting in the January regular session, we're going to chew this thing out with the goal of having something in place. You may say, well, that could be 10 months from right now. Very true. There could be all kinds of data center issues all over the state in the next 10 months. Nothing's going to be built in 10 months, but the approvals could happen. All that kind of stuff could be done. But to the point Susie was just making here, and I agree with this, is that you can do it fast and then go, oh, we didn't think about that, or we didn't have that information. Or you can go through the sausage making stuff that's frustrating and irritating and people like us here on the radio get on about, and then try to do it right and give everybody more of a chance to weigh in and hold our lawmakers accountable.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a deliberate and deliberative
Because
process.
if you move fast, the faster you move, the less likely that any advocates or somebody wants to have their say on it. The faster it moves, the less chance you have to have your voice heard on it.
Right.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Kimberly thinks of the data centers, and I don't know what her opinion is on it. But when it comes to they're trying to catch up, if that was her point, that the politicians are trying to catch up on it, I think she's right about that.
And Rare Camellia, good morning.
Hey, we
Camellia.
got a rare camellia sighting.
Makes a good reminder as well. Special sessions cost taxpayer money, and I guess logically, if it's not going to be a productive session, then all that's just going to be a waste of money anyways.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said where we got from point A to point B. We better pick this up in January, but a special session typically is like you were saying, we've identified what needs to be done. Here's some of the outcomes we're going to try. Let's negotiate to get the right.
We have a
package.
blueprint for what we're trying to accomplish.
We're coming in with an idea of what to do.
This doesn't sound like it has that at all.
No. I would rather them do it right, regardless of what Missouri decides to be. Do we want to be the data center capital of America? I don't know. Or do we say not here, put those things in the mountains in Idaho or Montana or Utah or whatever? Okay, but we don't know what we want to be with this right now, collectively.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you're watching our stream, then that means we need a data center to process all that, so we can hear you. That being said, though, one of the very good uses of a data center is that it allows us to offer a free app, the NewsTalkSTL app, which you can download for free from your favorite app center, and then you can bring us with you wherever you go, including if you're going to an anti-data center protest by chance.
That's right. You need to coordinate on social media for those things.
The point being, it's a great app. It's a lot of fun. You can bring us with you wherever you are. So go ahead and download the free NewsTalkSTL app.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I've driven all over Washington, D.C. I cannot find the money tree.
On NewsTalk STL. From the NewsTalk STL Weather Center.
Today marks the beginning of an active period of weather with on and off rain and storms all the way through Saturday. So humidity on the rise through the day. Let's be ready for hit and miss rain and storms midday into the afternoon and early evening. Our high at 83. Partly cloudy and dry tonight, down to 69 for a mild low. Thursday starts out dry, but rain and storms move in through the afternoon, linger into Thursday night. Some heavy rain and pockets of flooding are possible. 85 for the high tomorrow. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
When you count on Connor, you're getting the timeless American values that have guided our company from day one. Hard work, impeccable service, and honesty. At Connor Roofing, you aren't just getting a roof, you're getting safeguarded by a neighbor who cares. When you count on Connor, you're receiving protection for your home, your family, and your peace of mind.
Visit ConnorRoofing.com. Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on News Talk STL.
Word is being released of a military rescue deep in Iran. It sounds like a Mission Impossible movie, but it was real. In April, an F-15 was downed by a swarm of Iranian drones. The pilot and weapons officer were able to eject. The pilot rescued almost immediately. The weapons officer, seriously injured, had to hide in nearby mountains. In the meantime, Iranian forces were searching for him, and the Iranian regime offered a $60,000 bounty to anyone who found him. The wounded officer got 7,000 feet up the mountain, his emergency beacon alerting U.S. forces to his location. SEAL Team 6 was dispatched. Despite the odds, the American was rescued after 36 hours, and everyone was going to get out safely. But then 2 helicopters could not fly out, so he destroyed them on the ground. See, that's what Biden should have done when we abandoned Afghanistan. But no, the decision then was, let's just leave the equipment and the weapons for the enemy. There's a difference between leadership and a true commander-in-chief.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Colo Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs, Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010, extension 3 today, or visit colecombs-law.com.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalkSTL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This is Kurt Barr, Director of Elections for St. Charles County, reminding you that your vote counts. Missouri's statewide primary is Tuesday, August 4th. This is the election that decides which candidates advance to the November ballot. If you want a say in who your party puts forward, August is when it happens, not November. Furthermore, in contests where one party does not have a candidate for November, then this vote is decisive of who will hold office. For official election information, visit sccmo.org/elections.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
Love the all-new NewsTalkSTL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the NewsTalk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
The Mike Ferguson Show is one of my favorite programs. In addition to Larry Connor's USA, catch my program at 6. Now, back to Mike.
Okay, kind of a philosophical statement here. We can judge our society by a lot of things, right?
Yes.
Whether it is your neighborhood, whether it's your city, your county, your state, your entire nation. But among those ways you can judge is the way we treat vulnerable, and especially treat the vulnerable who have served us in the past. I'm not setting up for a joke. I think that's one of the ways that we can judge this health, the integrity health, the moral health of our societies and communities. And this article on RedState jumped out at me. Sickening. Viral video of Gulf War veteran being abused in a New York care home sparks outrage. RedState.com is where you can find that. It was written by Teri Christoph, who joins us right now. And Teri, it's not just that there are reports that it happened. There's video of this happening, of this veteran who is dealing, with obviously cognitive issues here, being treated basically as a throwaway.
Oh, it's very hard to watch. It is linked in the article, but I couldn't watch all of it because it is horrifying to see. But yes, this man, his name is Albert O'Toole. He is a Gulf War veteran who sustained a traumatic brain injury and later developed symptoms of Alzheimer's. So his wife made the difficult decision of putting him into a home. Now, originally he'd been in a home, and this is taking place in the state of New York. So let's keep that in mind, what's happening here. Originally, he was in a VA hospital being cared for, but I don't know the reasoning, but they moved him to one being run by New York State. So this is being run by Kathy Hochul. Let's just set some what's going on here. And this video, his wife, who, visited him every day, started to notice a decline once he made that move from the VA facility to the New York facility. So she decided, and I'm sure it was horrifying to think about, that she needed to set up a camera, a hidden camera in his room, and it caught his caretaker just horribly abusing him, treating him very, beating him, being very rough and transitioning him from wheelchairs, denying him food. And this is a man who can't advocate for himself very well and has to rely on his caretakers to provide for his needs on a daily basis all day long, and they were not doing that. And I think the wife was horrified what she found. And I thought it was beautiful. I love the veterans community out there. Once they see one of their own being treated badly, they went to bat for this guy and for his family, and they took it right up to the Trump administration, which was a beautiful thing. And they's like, this isn't our facility, but we're looking into it. So you hate to see it, because we owe these guys and the women so much for what they've done for us. And it was a hard watch, that video.
Yeah, Teri, one of the things that struck me about this was the fact that, he had been in a VA facility, because when I first saw it was when I saw Doug Collins, who's the VA secretary, responding to it. And I thought, what's going on here? And then you kind of learn more that this has kind of crossed over from a federally run VA facility to a state run. But there is still a connection there, because I think the guy, the aide who was seen on video abusing him, was still in some form employed by the Veterans Administration, which it sounds to me like they're taking a very close look at. But it was gratifying to see, the secretary of the VA saying, even though this isn't directly us, we are taking action.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing, I do not doubt that the Trump administration really wants the best for our veterans. There's not every administration you can say about that, but I truly believe, I think Doug Collins has been a wonderful VA secretary, and, I don't doubt that he's going to take action. I also think it speaks to the good side of social media, that you take one of these issues that needs to be addressed urgently and quickly, and it can get the attention, that these people in the Trump administration are, like Doug Collins, are available and can be reached through the magic of X. So, we often, and deservedly so, talk about the bad side of social media, but that's a great thing, and that the administration is so responsive to it. They're going to take action. It does, though, make you wonder, how many other veterans out there are suffering, and they don't have the family to set up a camera or something. So it does bring up greater issues. I know that the VA and how veterans have been treated has been a hot button issue for a long time now. So maybe this is a good conversation to have again, repeatedly, all the time, to talk about how to better care for the veterans. I do think the Trump administration, though, and definitely under Doug Collins, are really trying to address some of these shortcomings. Even though this isn't necessarily even their issue, they can bring attention to it for sure.
We're visiting with Teri Christoph from RedState.com, and you can check out that article, like I said, at RedState.com. So, Teri, is there also a broader picture? And in this case, it's a veteran who served his country who's being the subject of this abuse, and there's receipts because there's video right there. Is this saying something about possibly the care system and the nursing homes overall in this area? I mean, in this case, it happens to be a veteran, but could this be happening to other people because of the way that the whole system is, at least in that part of the country? And if it's that way in that part of the country, then we need to probably take a closer look at it everywhere else.
Well, it is interesting to note that this is New York State. And, of course, New York State got quite a bit of attention during the COVID era when Andrew Cuomo was governor for not treating the elderly in care homes very well during COVID. And so I think that New York State obviously needs to be looked at very closely with their state-run facilities and other, things that they're doing there with the elderly or veterans who need help. And you all too often you see these videos of the elderly or people in care homes being treated horribly, and it's definitely a problem. And I know it's a tough one to know how to fix, because often these are very low paying jobs to take care of them. So it's a tough situation. But New York State seems to be having a not great track record right now in terms of their state run care homes and things that are happening there.
I wonder what the variable could be in all that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes
I
you
don't
wonder.
know, but you love. I'm trying to take advantage of every moment of Trump being president, because he's not going to be president forever. But that they will, if this is brought to their attention, they will address it.
Yeah, and along those same lines, Teri, slightly different though. You recently took a trip. You've got an article up, your VIP article. I went in search of the Bedford Boys and found this. Could you share with us a little bit about what that was about and what you found when you were on your journey?
Yeah, so I think people that you guys don't understand this because you live in a great state, but my state of Virginia is fast going downhill. And my husband and I have been talking about what's next for us. Do we stay in Virginia? Do we leave Virginia? So we've kind of decided that we would take some road trips to investigate other parts of Virginia and see what's going on there, because there's some really great parts of Virginia, just not where I'm living, unfortunately, in the northern part. So one of the first places we went to visit was Lynchburg, Virginia, which is home to Liberty University, one of the very few conservative colleges left in the United States. But while we were there, I really wanted to visit Bedford. Bedford is very close to Lynchburg, and I'm kind of I'm not a fan of World War II, but I'm very interested in World War II. And of course, the Bedford boys were Bedford lost per capita way more of their young men, their fighting men, than any other part of the U.S. during World War II. So I wanted to find it. I knew that there was a memorial there, and I was like, I really would like to see it. So we went looking for it, and what we found was way more than a memorial, and I didn't even really know it existed. It's called the D-Day, the National D-Day Memorial. It's a big outdoor space in the Blue Ridge Mountains that is just dedicated to D-Day, and it's you kind of have to go into that article and see it, because I had no idea. I literally thought I was going to go see a little monument to the men, and I think it was ultimately 23 or 24 Bedford boys that died as a result of D-Day, either on D-Day or from injuries sustained. So I thought I'm getting a quaint little town, monument, and it is this big, massive, with like a soaring arch that overlooks the mountains, and a really, it's amazing. And I'm like, gosh, we missed the D-Day anniversary by a few weeks. Like, we should have been here on D-Day, but it's an amazing, something I've never seen. Like, there's this one water monument that really recreates what it was like for the men as they came through the water and stormed the beaches, and it has like sounds, and it has water spouts that simulate bullets flying at them. I had no idea. I was a little ashamed that up in Northern Virginia we don't even know that this exists. But it was a reminder, I think, to us. My husband and I have lived in Virginia a long time, that those who came before us, they fought when it was time to fight, and that maybe abandoning Virginia isn't the idea. So it's kind of this ongoing journey that we have, and that everywhere we turn here in Virginia, we can find examples of our forefathers really standing up and fighting. I mentioned Patrick Henry. We visited where he did his famous Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech. So it's kind of this ongoing journey. But boy, if you ever get a chance to go to Bedford, Virginia, visit this place. It is unlike anything I've ever seen before, and it's just big outdoor area, and it's beautiful, and everybody needs to go.
And Teri, are there pictures in the article, or do you have any of those on social media? People, I have a feeling, will really want to see.
Yeah.
I
have them both, because you have to kind of see the video of the various installations they have there to kind of get a feel for it. But it's really, and everyone that I've heard from that has gone there is like, yeah, this is like unlike anything I've ever seen before. And I don't know why it's not more well known. Like, it's crazy that there was almost nobody there. It's several acres. It's a pretty big area, and like there was just a few of us there. So we need to spread the word, because it is a very, very touching tribute and really interesting. And I think it's well worth people's time Bedford's not, a hotbed of activity, but if you're passing through, you should see it.
All right. Then Teri, Christoph, RedState.com, obviously see the work, and they want to connect with you on social media. What's the way to do it?
Yeah, I'm over on X, Teri Christoph, but go to RedState. I always say go to RedState. That's where all the good stuff is.
Thanks, Teri.
Thanks, Teri.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we reminded you today is Bump Day, which means we want you to be getting together your bump music requests to send to Jerome. Jerome, do we have a theme this week?
I was thinking patriotic songs, because I think
that's appropriate.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So send in your patriotic 80s type music for your request to Jerome at NewsTalkSTL.
Just the ones that make you go, America.
America.
Yes.
Maybe we're going to get a little bit of rain. Maybe we're going to get a lot of rain, but we still had a bunch of rain come through, and there's standing water. And you know what that means? Mosquitoes. Get ready for that now. You need to talk to my friends at the Mosquito SWAT Team in Baldwin, okay? The Mosquito SWAT Team at Gmail is the email. themosquitoswatteam.com is the website. So if you want to have that barbecue, but you're tired of being the main course at your own barbecue, get ready for the rest of the summer into the fall. Be prepared. Contact my friends at the Mosquito SWAT Team. Listen, these are not just professionals certified at pest control, but they will also custom make your solution. They don't show up and say, well, this is the stuff we have, we're going to spray it everywhere. They look at your situation and they custom mix your solution on site for your needs, for your home, based on what you have going on right there. And they also have solutions that make sure they're not harming pollinating insects like bees and things like that. Get rid of the mosquitoes. Have the rest of that summer comfortable and fun. Contact my friends at the Mosquito SWAT Team, themosquitoswatteam.com.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
Hey, it's Chris Arps. Becky and I recently discovered a restaurant that's quickly become one of our go-to restaurants, Timothy's in Creve Coeur. Led by executive chef Will Mabry, Timothy serves contemporary American cuisine with a touch of Southern charm. Dishes like pastrami, smoked lamb, and shrimp and grits. My wife absolutely loved the lobster pot pie, and everything we've tried has been incredible. Amazing house-made desserts and over 500 wines to choose from. Enjoy dinner 7 nights a week, plus lunch, brunch, and private events. Timothy's in Creve Coeur at 12710 Olive Boulevard or online at timothysstl.com.
Today, scammers use AI, fake voices, and realistic messages to make fraud look real. If you're pressured to act fast or promise guaranteed returns, don't fall for the call. I'm Denny Hoskins, Missouri Secretary of State. Our office regulates investing and works to protect investors. Call the Missouri Securities Hotline at 800-721-7996 or visit MissouriProtectsInvestors.com. Paid for by the Missouri Investor Education and Protection Fund. This is a public service announcement.
Good morning, St. Louis. Hey, it's Vince from The Vince Show right here on News Talk STL every weeknight at 8. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Things got ugly at the St. Louis County Council meeting.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And you're not just talking about the politicians.
No. And the Fringe had a big night at the polls in New York. Can Democrats continue to win on a platform of overt socialism? I don't know. We'll see. And a longtime St. Louis Blue, not a St. Louis Blue anymore.
Boo.
All right. 7:51. Let's do another news dump here.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by STL FenceWorks.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
All right, here we go. In this corner. No, I'm sorry. Okay. Tuesday's St. Louis County Council meeting got so tense, the chambers were cleared, and some council members wanted Executive Sam Page removed. Now, he wasn't removed, at least not in this round. At issue was a bill to fund contracts for nurses working at the county jail and at the juvenile detention center. The current funding runs out next week at the end of the month, and county officials say medical care in the jails is going to be scaled back, at least until they know what's going to be happening with the funding here. The council chambers were cleared when things got heated between the audience and some council members, and also between Sam Page and Chair Rita Hurd-Days. The council could vote on the funding as early as tomorrow, but they want to have some conversations with the health department director to make sure all the money's lining up and where it's being spent. And that's the slowdown on this. But that wasn't an answer that was winning people over in the chamber, and things got ugly.
Heated.
Yeah. Just a bit here. All right. A federal judge on Monday blocking the Trump administration from using its overhauled voter verification system. The judge ruled that the database, which links citizenship and Social Security records and things like that, the judge ruled that unlawfully exposes private information and has already resulted in eligible citizens being wrongly purged from voter rolls. Judiciary Committee Chairman, that's Congressman Jim Jordan out of Ohio, defending the program during an appearance on Fox's The Ingram Angle.
Simply let them match up lists. Now, a bunch of red states sent in their lists. Some blue states did. And what they find? Thousands of people were on the voter registration list in states that were not citizens. That's what he's trying to get at. And this judge says no. Somehow that tramples on rights? No.
U.S. District Court Judge Sparkle L. Suknanen.
Strong American name.
Just Trinidadian.
Sparkle
Suknanen.
L. How do you say it?
Suknanen.
Suknanen?
Suknanen.
Suknanen. I think I ordered that at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay. Stated in
a
her
Biden appointee. Shocker,
okay.
Shocker.
Stated in her ruling that Congress expressly barred the government from centralizing Americans' personal information in this manner. Oh, Susie, is there a chance there'll be an appeal?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So that happened here. All right. Let's see here. What else is going on? Oh, let's talk some Iran war, shall we? Secretary of State Marco Rubio visiting the UAE, and he's meeting with Gulf allies to discuss a U.S.-Iran peace deal. Speaking with reporters, the secretary says that good groundwork's been laid out, but there's a lot of work that still has to be done.
I think there's a framework and an outline upon which we can make real progress. I think good groundwork was laid over the last 72 hours, but a lot of work remains to be done, and we want to hear from our partners. We want to make sure that their views are taken into account, and we understand their security concerns, their regional economic concerns as well.
Okay, so Iran publicly rejecting several claims made by the Trump administration regarding the terms of the deal, and Iran is denying that nuclear inspectors are going to be allowed into their country. Secretary Rubio also set to visit Bahrain and Kuwait over the next couple of days, discussing, obviously, the regional priorities and the efforts to make sure the Strait of Hormuz is open and commercial traffic, including energy and oil, is going to be moving through.
I just have a suggestion.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you should just swallow what this administration says, hook, line, and
Right.
sinker. I think you should always, trust but verify everything. Don't just take things at face value. But for God's sake, don't take what the Iranians say at face value at all. I mean, they're going to say 18 different things all at once. And, if you're going to default, at least default on giving the Americans the benefit of the doubt. That's all I'm going to say.
Iranians are, for a country that we're told we just crushed and completely have a total victory, they're really mouthy still. You notice that?
They are.
They have a surprising amount of control over the strait, which is really ruining my cruise idea for the Strait of Hormuz. So figure it out, guys.
Maybe you need to go over there and knock some sense into them, Jerome.
I'm going to have a talk with them.
That's right. All right. There's no legal weight to the statement, but Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is suggesting that there are too many chiefs and not enough on-the-street police officers in the St. Louis region. In an interview with KMOV, Hanaway suggests that at least some consolidation of police departments to improve efficiency and share resources might be needed. Now, of course, this is not a new concept, as there is a North County cooperative right now. Locally, there are also discussions about consolidating some fire department services in eastern St. Louis County, which we told you about, two weeks ago. Yeah. All right. Jordan Kyrou, no longer a Blue. Yeah, he was traded to the Capitals on Tuesday. Blues get a 16th round draft selection in this year's draft, and the Blues get two forwards, Connor McMichael and Milton Gastrin. Kyrou has been a Blue for 9 seasons. He's scored 168 goals for the Blues, and only 18 of those was last year. His productivity really did drop off last year, but he scored some key goals as well.
Sad to see him go.
Diamondbacks even up the series with the Cardinals. Arizona gets the win at Busch Stadium last night. Final score 4-3. Tonight's game starts at 6:45, and the St. Louis Cardinals have a press conference scheduled today, and they have said it's going to be an announcement about the ownership of the team. And we don't know how big of a deal this is, but there's a little bit of a buzz around like the sports media community. So we'll probably have some big news to tell you about tomorrow.
It's not your typical game day look. Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals face the Miami Marlins, and fans can receive a soccer-style Cardinals jersey presented by Purina. Clean, sporty, and unmistakably Cardinals, it brings a fresh energy to the ballpark from first pitch on, and kids take home a vibrant Cardinals soccer ball to keep the action going long after the final out. 2 ways to play, one big Sunday. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fredbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. During a visit to Capitol Hill today, President Trump will sign a massive housing affordability bill, cleared Congress with bipartisan support. Along with making housing more affordable, the aim is to increase housing availability. While on the Hill, the president will also attend a private luncheon with senators, lobbying for his voter integrity bill, among other priorities. The head of the UN's nuclear agency is insisting that Iranian nuclear sites will be subject to inspection.
International Atomic Energy Agency head Rafael Mariano Grossi says that the visits to nuclear enrichment sites are a key component in the interim deal between the US and Iran to reach an end to the war. Grossi made the comments at a press conference at the tsunami-hit Fukushima nuclear power plant, adding, whether this happens the day after tomorrow or in 1 week or 10 days, it's important but not essential. This is going to happen. On Tuesday, Iran and the US disputed whether or not bombed enrichment sites would be inspected. Experts say that's key to the deal, which for Iran's stockpile of uranium to be down-blended from highly enriched levels. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
In the Senate, the 10th time was the charm for a War Powers resolution, winning approval in the upper house of Congress, demanding that President Trump get congressional approval before further military action against Iran. A largely symbolic resolution that the president says is ill-timed and meaningless. From Texas comes word that Camp Mystic has filed for bankruptcy, this nearly a year after catastrophic flooding. It killed 28 people at that summer camp. The Trump administration calls it another example of judicial overreach. San Francisco federal judge has ruled that there may be no arrests by the feds at immigration courts. On Wall Street, Dow futures down 17 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-822-1716. 800-822-1716. 800-822-1716.
from the NewsTalkSTL Weather Center.
Today marks the beginning of an active period of weather with on and off rain and storms all the way through Saturday. So humidity on the rise through the day. Let's be ready for hit and miss rain and storms midday into the afternoon and early evening. Our high at 83. Partly cloudy and dry tonight, down to 69 for a mild low. Thursday starts out dry, but rain and storms move in through the afternoon, linger into Thursday night. Some heavy rain and pockets of flooding are possible. 85 for the high tomorrow. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, Jamie Allman here for Window World. Did you know that Window World offers a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor? They are one of the only 2 replacement windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. Window World St. Louis has been owned and operated by a group of born and raised St. Louis residents for more than 23 years, and now Window World is offering 36 months same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today, 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS.
Summer's here, and so is the freshest produce in town. At Anthony's Produce, we specialize in locally grown fruits and vegetables, straight from the farm to your table. Homegrown tomatoes, sweet corn, juicy cantaloupe, watermelon, and peaches, just to name a few. Plus, thousands of locally made products you won't find anywhere else. Need a fruit or vegetable tray for your next gathering? We've got you covered. Anthony's Produce on Jungerman Road or at anthonysproduce.com. Open 7 days a week.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
The Media Research Center, our great friends, are out to prove that The View is a political operation and they should be giving equal time to political candidates. We'll talk about that. Kenny and Al come out right out of the gate Wednesday at 9:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
I'm not like the rest of you. I don't make mistakes.
Susie Moore.
What you're telling me doesn't sound logical, my dear.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
You need to get to go. I need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This is your cousin.
All right, Merca got a birthday coming up, as we know.
Merca.
But get this, some people aren't celebrating is patriotism being canceled by wokeness in some cases. And why would this not be something that just kind of cascades throughout America and say, you know what, I don't like you. I think you're wrong. I'm going to beat you in the election, and then I'm going to laugh at you. But you know what? Gosh darn it, we're all Americans.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. No. We have become, so divided and so tribal and so partisan. So why are we seeing some of these things on a larger scale? I mean, there's going to be a little knucklehead every now and again, but we're seeing a lot of this happening. All right, Johanna Neuman. She has been a reporter with covering the White House and Congress and the State Department. She's worked for USA Today. She's worked for the LA Times. She's a fellow at Harvard. And so she's actually got I normally don't get into the academic credentials, but she's got a PhD in history from American University. And I say that to lay the groundwork, Johanna, that you know of which you speak. And so you've got an interesting perspective on this, having been there, not just having done the academic thing. 250 years for America right now. And instead of everybody just saying, you know what, time out on the other stuff, let's celebrate, let's have a party. There is like your PR folks laid out, a growing list of places that's saying, we don't want anything to do with this. We're canceling the 4th of July. This patriotic thing is just not who and what we are right now. How in the world did we get here to this point?
Do you think it's just TDS or is it something larger? I mean, in Los Angeles, the mayor, Karen Bass, canceled a parade in the foothills of the San Fernando Valley that has been held every year for 50 years. And the city officials suggested to the organizers that they move it to a different day. And I thought, these people will do anything not to celebrate one of the great achievements in world history. I mean, if you think about the Declaration of Independence and those clarion calls that every man is equal, that our rights come not from man or government, but from the Creator, and that no government can run without the consent of the people. And it's just shocking to me. The one that really stunned me was in Nantucket, Massachusetts, where the Second Unitarian Meeting House had been holding annual readings of the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. This year they canceled them because they wanted the congregants to think about their own. Sorry, I'm getting choked up thinking about it. Their own wokeness.
Their own wokeness?
Their own wokeness, yeah.
Wow. You know, it seems like that's something you could do in year 251 instead of year 250 at such a milestone.
Well, sometimes I wonder if we'll get to 251. I mean, what's happening with the elections of communists, and I think they call themselves democratic socialists.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a sobering moment, but it's also a great time to reflect on how blessed we are, how really blessed this country has been. And, you know, I wrote this book called Trump's Superpower, and it's the subtitle is a historical novel about the founding fathers and one founding mother. And in it, I bring the founders down from heaven to participate in our 250th birthday. And they have wonderful, funny encounters with 21st century Americans. Ben Franklin is arrested for misgendering someone, and George Washington has his teeth fixed, and all these wonderful things. But they also have, among themselves, they have a serious conversation about whether this is the country they meant to leave us. And I think of that now because they, all of them, even the ones who didn't go to church, they all believed in providence. That's why George Washington knelt down in the boat that was taking his army across the Delaware River, and they all thought that providence had blessed this country. And when I was covering the White House, when I covered Ronald Reagan, he always talked about America as a city on a hill with a beacon of hope to the world. And so I think we should be proud of it. I think the left has been, you mentioned my university years. I was after a long career in journalism. I went back to get my PhD in history. And when I arrived on campus, I was shocked that they didn't offer any courses in the American Revolution. And when I asked about this, I was told that historians don't really believe it was a revolution. They think it was just it wasn't bloody like the French Revolution. This was just a little course correction. And from that moment, I realized, that these people were not writing history from the perspective of America. They were writing history from some globalist kind of perch. And they have been, if you study history, you'll see that the left has been dishing the founders and the founding for more than 100 years. They disparaged their motives. They weren't interested in freedom. They just did it for economic benefit. And then later, of course, in our generation, they lobbed them with charges of racism and colonization and being white, and slave ownership. And I named the book Trump's Superpower because I actually believe that Trump understood that he has to rescue the founders and the founding from this century-long mystique, or he can't make the country great again. I mean, it's integral to any country's DNA. And the greatest rebuttal to these critics in the university and in the media comes from our European friends who came over for the soccer matches and saw in America all the things that we celebrate, the hospitality, the kindness, the charity, the abundance, the great abundance of food. So I thank you for them for coming, and thank you for Trump for sort of standing on the shoulders of the founders as he tries to make the country great again.
Okay, Joanna, we've just got a couple minutes left here. We're visiting with Johanna Neuman, and the book that she just mentioned, it's a novel called Trump's Superpower. When it comes to like the founding fathers, because they're like you said, there's been a long-running war, not just from the left as a whole, but academia in particular, and this is how generations of young people have been reared to basically find the founding fathers guilty of whatever, and there definitely were a lot of flaws. There were a lot of things that we should be proud of the fact that we corrected later on, and there were some things that there definitely should. So what's the difference between appreciating appreciating these 250 years and the foundation that was laid by the Declaration and by the founding fathers, and still rightly being skeptical and saying, okay, but here are things that thank God we have corrected along the way? I mean, because I don't want to look at them as flawless. I don't want to look at them as deities. I mean, they were men just like the rest of us, and women, with some of the founding mothers, who were involved in their lives. And so how do we properly, and I'm going to shortchange on time because we've just got a couple minutes left, how do we properly hold them in the right regard and the right esteem for what they accomplished at the same time?
So I think those two things are deeply related. One of the things that we have to credit them for is divining a constitution and a code of laws that allowed us to correct their mistakes. That is written in. If you want to amend the Constitution to outlaw slavery, you might have to fight a war for it, but you can do it under our Constitution. And I think the greatest gift that I feel from them is that they gave us the American dream. If you want to work hard and apply yourself and apply your curiosity, you can succeed. And there's not another country that can boast that. It's really unique to this country that we have the opportunities and the wherewithal. I think when I think about the founders, and one of the questions that comes up in the book is, would they be surprised by what's become of us? And I don't think Jefferson would have been, because he thought that each generation should reinvent democracy for themselves. But there were others like Alexander Hamilton, who was very bullish on this country. He was our first Treasury Secretary. And in fact, throughout the book, he goes around telling people, I was the first tariff president, not Trump. But he really believed, because he was an immigrant, that it was possible. The American dream was a real possibility for everyone who wanted to try. And that is a great legacy.
All right, Johanna Neuman, former White House Congressional State Department correspondent for USA Today, LA Times. Appreciate you being on the program here. You've got a Substack out as well. Is that or social media? What's the best way people get in touch, find your work, obviously, if they want to?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
It's on Substack, and it's called Make Orwell Fiction Again. And I have a very lively audience and a lot of conversations that are sparked. So I enjoy it.
All right. And once again, the book, which is a novel called Trump's Superpower, that's out now, right? Or is that still coming out?
Oh, yes, it is.
It's
and
out
you
now.
can go to TrumpSuperpower.com. I hired an artist who uses AI And he did videos of all the founders talking about this book. So if you go to TrumpSuperpower.com, you can see them there and order the book there.
All right. Thanks, Johanna.
Thank you.
All right. We got a birthday coming up here. It's not just America's. It's also News Talk STL's birthday coming up. Matter of fact, on Friday, we are going to be celebrating, and we are going to be doing this thing in Cottleville, okay? We are celebrating 5 years on the air. We want you to be there. We're going to be at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville in St. Charles County. Starts at 7 o'clock. Jason Nelson and the Retro Nerds take the big stage. This is going to be great. This is the best 80s tribute band you're ever going to see. We're going to be under the pavilion near the stage. Come by, say hi. There's going to be food trucks if you want to go buy some food. You get some place to get some drinks if you want to do that. 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock Friday night, this coming Friday night, Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville, frankiemartinsgarden.com.
Information, you want to take the place of what I trust. Turn on your
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Your indifference. Stop it right now. You're gonna blow us all away.
All right, one of the things you can treat yourself with, all right, Mario's Donuts. I am telling you, this isn't just a donut shop. Go get your breakfast. Go get your breakfast sandwich. Go get your gyro for lunch. Go get your dessert. But those donuts, oh my goodness, there is such a difference. MariosDonutRestaurant.com is where you can get the full menu. I love this place. By the way, speaking of Independence Day and 4th of July, they actually have a whole wall dedicated to veterans. And you can check that out. It's really cool. A lot of room in there, plenty of room. Connect to the Wi-Fi, get your work done, hang out with friends. As with a lot of coffee shops, very quirky, a lot of great local stuff. It's just so much fun to be there. Right off Mugie Road. Check them out, mariosdonutrestaurant.com, or just put into your maps or your GPS, Mario's Donut. It'll take you right there. Sit down, grab a cup of coffee, just enjoy the time. But I am telling you, there is a difference in the donuts. Yeah, you can run by the gas station and get those dried out, nasty things that yuck. Or you can get the donuts that are made right there every day, and they are absolutely delicious. Find out why I love Mario's Donuts so much. Mario's Donut Restaurant right off Mugie Road, mariosdonutrestaurant.com.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder, but our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
This year, America turns 250, and News Talk STL is celebrating our nation's semi-quincentennial all year long. News Talk STL, #1 for live and local Soros-free talk, with proud supporters of our 250th birthday celebration. Trolley Stop Bakery, DG Firearms, and The Yard Guy. 250 years strong, and we're just getting started. 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Live and local.
Listen to what those local folks are telling you.
News Talk STL.
The secret side of me, I never let you see. I keep it caged, but I can't control it. So stay away from me, the beast is ugly. I feel the rage and I just can't hold it.
Hey, Chris Arps from the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show. Make sure that you're listening to our show this afternoon from 4 to 6. Now back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
I'm trying to think back if I typically don't do promo interviews for novels. Just a thing with me. I'm not anti-novel. I don't really read fiction. But with that one, I wanted to tap into Johanna's correspondence and reporting experience as much as anything. But the novel is a fun concept. That's for sure. What would happen if you took the Founding Fathers, brought them back so they could be part of the 250th celebration? That is a really fun concept. And by the way, everybody out there who has a novel, do not ask me for an interview to promote your novel. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm just pointing out right now. I'm trying to remember if I've ever done an interview promoting a novel before, because it's not my thing. But I thought that was a really clever idea, though, concept. And I haven't read her book.
This is going to sound really nerdy of me, but I do often consider, I'm very big into the Founding Fathers.
Sure.
Jefferson's my favorite. Franklin's a really interesting character as well. But
you would want to party with Jefferson. You would want to sit down and have a conversation. I'm sorry. You would want to have a very serious, thought-provoking conversation with Jefferson. You want to party with Franklin.
I think Jefferson and I could get up to some shenanigans. If you read some of his private writings, he was a little bit of a rascal at times, but. Yeah, so I constantly think about what I'm living through, what I'm going to live through in the future, what potentially my future offspring will have to live through, and imagine if the people that envisioned this great nation and set the framework for the greatest nation ever in the history of history, what they would think about how we're handling it right now and what we're doing.
Can you imagine, let's say, the founding fathers sitting down, because obviously New England is where so much of that history happened. Can you imagine them watching the news and seeing Zoran Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren extol their virtues of big, controlling government, socialist government that runs every aspect of our lives and taxes the majority of people at all levels of 40, 50, 60% of your income? Can you imagine what the Founding Fathers would say if they were able to see that right now?
I can imagine how they would have handled it when Woodrow Wilson said, "Hey, we're going to do a permanent income tax."
Yeah.
They would have said, "Hey, boys, let's go grab those muskets real quick."
So anyway, the book concept is pretty cool here, but yeah, I mean, and also the discussion about so many different communities canceling Independence Day celebrations. Now, sometimes you get it. Ferguson here. They canceled the fireworks display and everything. They just say, we're on a tight budget and we just can't afford to spend tens of thousands of dollars to blow stuff up. You know what? I respect it. I get it. I respect it.
Well, I can understand from the city standpoint of paying for the event, but at that point, why not just say, hey, if you guys yourselves want to bring your own fireworks, and
which
then
a lot of communities have, well, not bring your own because you got liability, but I've seen others where they've said, listen, if you want to do this, we're gonna have to collectively just donate and pay for it, and I've seen that before, and that can work as well. But it's not like there aren't other areas in St. Louis where you can go to watch a fireworks display. You can do that all over the place. So the other areas where, like for instance, she mentioned the one area in Massachusetts that said we're going to cancel our annual reading of the Declaration of Independence because we want you to focus. And she said wokeness, but the stuff that was sent to me said to focus on your whiteness, to reflect on your whiteness. Okay, guilty. Let's talk about the Declaration of Independence, which opened the door for freedom for all Americans. And by the way, look at world history. How common is it for a heterogeneous, as in a very diverse society, to survive 250 years? Have we always been diverse? Of course not. But to survive and thrive, and yes, we have a lot of challenges, but to thrive the way that we have, when we have what often was called a melting pot. I don't know that we're melting and blending the way that we used to by any stretch of the imagination.
It's more like a salad now.
Yeah, it's something. But what has succeeded here, challenges, setbacks, conflicts, and all, likely would not succeed anywhere else in the world.
No.
But we've made it work. Now, do we have another 250 years in our country? I don't know. I don't know. But we have a lot to celebrate right now. We have a lot of things we need to fight for and change now. We have a lot of things that we need to course correct on. We have a lot of bad ideologies and evil thinking we need to defeat. But you can do all that and still celebrate everybody together what we have so far
Mm-hmm.
and what we have done, flaws and all. And we can call out the flaws, but I don't think that this 250th celebration, if you left the fringe left, if you left the academy, you left academia to their wares, they would demand that we spend the 250th anniversary, the 250th birthday of America, explaining ourselves to ourselves and apologizing and on our hands and knees and begging for
Flogging
forgiveness, flogging our. No, we should be having a party where everybody's invited and you can set aside all of the garbage for a little bit, but that's not going to happen in 2026 America in most of the country. I think in a lot of areas, people are going to say, you know what, let's celebrate. We can go back to fighting on the campaign trail after this.
Yeah, I was talking to a few younger Republicans that I know that are my age, and the idea of patriotism, and it's like, well, what do we have to be patriotic about? What does patriotism even mean? I mean, you can be in disagreement, full disagreement with your government, and still be a patriot because you are respecting and you are acknowledging and you are valuing the culture around everything else. There are less than 400 million people in the United States right now.
Yeah, about what, 340
350,
million?
yeah, something
like that. Yeah.
But there are less than 400 million people in the United States. There are close to 8 billion people globally, and there are people that will never even be able to conceive of just how privileged we have it in this country. They will never be able to comprehend what free speech is like, what being able to choose your own destiny is like, to be able to come up with an idea and make money off of it and not be required to give it over to the government. And people take this luxurious lifestyle, even when it's hard. We still have one of the most luxurious lifestyles in the entire world, and people just resent us for it. So if you don't like your culture, you can dislike the government all you want, but the culture around it that enables you to be able to change the government every now and then, I think that's worth celebrating.
I dislike a lot of our government.
Yeah.
I dislike it a lot. And here's the thing is, saying that something's really, really hard is still opportunity. For those who argue that it's too hard, that's oppression. No, something being difficult is not oppression.
Stop being weak.
Failing at something doesn't mean you were oppressed. Okay? Maybe this is just the stoic thinking that I'm reading a lot about right now. But things are supposed to be hard even in a free society. Something you can have stuff handed to you for free. I mean, there's a lot of mice that say, "Oh, look, free cheese." Snap. It's okay for it to be hard sometimes. That's the market. But opportunity means you make the most of it. It's just our job to provide an opportunity. And we have that more so than almost anywhere else in the country, Republican, Democrat, or otherwise.
Yeah, sometimes the struggles and the adversity that we face is not going to pay off immediately for us, but you could still take some comfort in the fact that you're building something better for somebody that comes along after you. Now, that means also sometimes it's good to take a break from the doom and gloom and the division. and one thing that I've noticed we've not really had, well, a little bit of pushback on, but we've not really seen very many arguments and divisiveness around 80s music.
Yes, we have.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll check my 90s privilege.
No, you won't.
But 80s music seems to have that good blend of feel-goodness with important relevance to our culture today. And I think it's important that you send me your bump music request to Jerome at NewsTalkSTL.com. This week's theme is going to be Patriot songs, America. So send it to me, Jerome at NewsTalkSTL.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Today marks the beginning of an active period of weather with on and off rain and storms all the way through Saturday. So humidity on the rise through the day. Let's be ready for hit and miss rain and storms midday into the afternoon and early evening. Our high at 83. Partly cloudy and dry tonight, down to 69 for a mild low. Thursday starts out dry, but rain and storms move in through the afternoon, linger into Thursday night. Some heavy rain and pockets of flooding are possible. 85 for the high tomorrow. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Fox News commentary with Guy Benson next. My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Here's Guy Benson.
What a blessing it is to be American. Think about the inheritance that we have received from those who came before us, forging this great experiment in self-governance and prosperity and freedom, the likes of which the world had never seen. And it could have gone wrong. It could have imploded immediately, right? When the founders affixed their signatures to the Declaration of Independence and they pledged their lives and their fortunes and their sacred honor to the founding of the new country, they very well could have been signing their own death warrants. And they knew it. Instead, they gave us this inheritance. And people will say, well, what about this? What about that? Yes, our history is imperfect. That is true of every nation and every civilization ever.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. Unfortunately, St. Louis city streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline.
Hello, Kirk Ilsinger, chairman of the Republican Party for the city of St. Louis, and we believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. I invite you to our meetings the first Thursday of every month. Learn more at stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC, Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
News Talk STL is turning 5, and you're invited to the party. Join us Friday night, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville for a totally rad celebration with the Retro Nerds, St. Louis's favorite 80s tribute band, live on the outside stage from 7 to 10. It's an all-ages show, so bring the whole family and stop by and see us at the News Talk STL Pavilion right near the stage. Frankie Martin's Garden, the place for and about community in Cottleville. Details at frankiemartinsgarden.com.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
We talk about race relations.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
And I'm sick and tired of it.
101.9 and 94.1.
I find it to be a conversation starter.
News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's graduation time. Woo! Okay, and you're saying, no, the kids' graduation, college graduations, that was weeks ago, Mike. No, it's graduation time for the adults who have chosen life.
Oh, fantastic.
And you can be a part of it. And it's happening this week. And it's all happening through our friends at Reach Reproductive Health. We're joined right now by Levi Hart from Reach. Levi, my friend, good to chat with you. And people think of Reach, and they rightfully think of the crisis pregnancy, meeting the immediate needs, the medical care, and the alternatives to abortion. But I think a lot of people, even though you've mentioned it on the air, and even though you've talked about it at the events that that you've had for Reach, I think a lot of people don't intuitively think of equipping the parents and helping to build a family or equipping parents to build a family themselves. Because that's one of the arguments against the pro-life movement is people say, oh, you're just pro-birth, just outlaw, then you leave people to their own. No. You're following through exactly the way that people say never happens, but it happens all the time. And you've got the first group who has completed this program. You got to tell us about this.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me on, by the way. You're awesome. Always supportive of the pro-life cause, so we appreciate you. So three points here that I think are worth bringing up. One, in order to help a pregnant mom in crisis or even her partner that feels like they're in crisis, one of the first things you have to do is help get them out of that crisis. It's not a matter of bringing them in and then hey, we're going to convince you of our political, moral, or religious views. Really, we address it by addressing the various crises that they are going through in that moment. And these parenting classes are just one way we do that. Maybe they already have 2 or 3 kids and they're thinking, I can barely handle these. How am I going to do more? Or maybe they've never had a kid at all and they're just scared and thinking, gosh, I don't want to be I don't want to bring a kid into this world, and things like that. Or they're thinking, I don't have money for pack and plays or car seats or diapers. And the thing is, when they go to these classes, they're going to get wrapped around with emotional support, educational support. The parenting classes are really like adulting 101 on some level. Because they're going to cover everything from budgeting to breastfeeding. Mm-hmm. And when they go, they earn points that allow them to go to our resource shop. And they shouldn't have to pay for a single diaper for the whole first year of that child's life. So that's point one, as far as okay, get them out of the crisis. But then, it argues the point also of, this isn't just get them in and convince them to have a baby and then they're out on their own, by any stretch at all. But then thirdly, beyond all of that, whenever they go through this, they're getting all these resources as a parent to where they're actually going to end up leaving Reach on the other side of this graduation better off than they were prior to entering into what felt like a crisis.
We're visiting with Levi Hart from Reach Reproductive Health, and I think that's fascinating how you just say they're going to end up leaving Reach. And that's kind of the point, because you want them self-sustaining and out on their own. And a lot of times people with the best of intentions equate, I give somebody stuff, or I give somebody money, or I provide this immediate need. I've done my part, without the idea of that sustainability. And you can set somebody up for failure and have this well-intentioned cruelty to people, even though that's not what you want. But you've got this long program. What is it that's going to be celebrated Thursday at this graduation? Because you're inviting everybody to come out and support these folks, and then we'll get into why that matters too. But what is it that, to walk across the stage and to give a testimony and be a part of this, what is it that these folks have actually done, with the first thing being they chose life?
So they've gone through 42 weeks of parenting classes. So I don't know about you, Mike, but I did not go through nearly a year of parenting classes before I became a parent. And I helped. In the past, I've helped teach them before, and I'm telling you, it would have been really helpful. So they've devoted themselves to coming out to these classes weekly. And a lot of them are their partners as well. So among the graduates this year, you're going to see some of the fathers up on the stage too. And we're inviting everyone to come out, because we're actually having the event at the Chaminade Preparatory School. In their theater there. It's beautiful. So, for some of these people, it might be one of the first things they've graduated before. And they're going to be walking across this stage ready to step on out and be productive members of our society, which starts in the home, right? And now we have a chance to come and celebrate them. So to all the listeners out there, this is a free event this Thursday, 6 p.m. at Chaminade. You can go to outreachforlife.org, and you'll find under events a place to register your spot there.
Okay, so most people watching us or listening right now, Levi, they're saying, well, I don't know anybody there. I'm sure they want their friends and their family there. it's not going to matter to them if I'm there. I mean, either what's in it for them, for complete strangers to be there, and what's in it for us to watch complete strangers celebrate this achievement.
That's a valid question, Mike. Yeah. So for one, there's 12 graduates. It's not like a high school graduation or a college graduation where you have, hundreds of people graduating. So the room is full. So they probably have of friends and family there, 50 to 100 people. But imagine the support of hundreds more people coming and cheering them on and clapping for them and excited for them and showing like, wow, there's a lot of people for me here. This is amazing. So one, just the support of that in and of itself will go light years. You think of this will be a moment they will never forget. I mean, it's cap and gown and everything. But then for those who are there, it's a chance to see, we hear a lot of bad things in the news constantly about abortion. I mean, we just heard the thing in Missouri about, what's going on with the abortion pill now. And now it's like, no holds bars and everything. And there's all this, but it's like, hey, look at the work that's happening here. You'll get a chance to see some parents that chose life for their babies, though they were in a crisis situation. And in part, because of supporters like the people listening right now who have stepped forward, and that can start on Thursday. It's not just money. So if you're like, man, I want to get involved in this, in the pro-life movement and go beyond just my vote, here's a way you can do it. You can show up Thursday and you can show your support for some parents who otherwise could have chosen abortion.
Yeah, and we're looking at. We've said it all the time, and Levi, you and I have had this conversation on air, and we've had it in private. Is that a lot of times when people think of pro-life movement, they say, "I'm doing my part to protect babies by voting yes on Amendment 3," which I hope we all do. You know what? Yep. I've helped elect pro-life candidates. Okay, great. That is really important. But in this case right here, you can be a Democrat, you can be a Republican, you can be independent, you can be non-political. Yeah. But the pro-life movement is far more encompassing than just election time where all the consultants make the money. This is where we look at the faces and we see the hearts of the people who said many cases. I mean, you've got more experience, obviously, than most people walking around St. Louis, but I've got a feeling innately that very few people will say, oh, here's my excuse to go get an abortion. They intuitively want life, and now they've got an opportunity to do it through organizations like yours.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike, and that's what we found. Like, as soon as you can address the whatever the crisis is, whatever has them at a point where this seems like a bad thing, like a life destroyer. Like maybe you remember that old Kenny Chesney song, "There Goes My Life," and if you can just address that, and you just never know what it's going to be. That's going to make it click. When they come into our center, that's what we do. We try to figure out what is this that's making this pregnancy feel like a crisis. And we meet them in that spot. And it takes a village. It doesn't just take, a nonprofit organization is not just the people that it hires that are working and doing this thing. A nonprofit organization truly is, owned by the people in a sense, because it's not owned by the board or by the CEO or anything like that. It is, the people coming and making this happen. And this graduation is one great way to do that, to come, to witness, to celebrate, and to take it back into your everyday life, because you're right. The voting is incredibly important. We need everyone to get out and vote yes for Amendment 3 this year. But then beyond that, you think of, before slavery was abolished, or even after it was, the Underground Railroad, you had people that were involved in everyday life in making this happen. It had to go beyond the vote. Or you look at World War II, before our troops went in there and liberated the concentration camps, what was happening there? You had people hiding Jews. It was their everyday life in which they were playing a role in what was the major crisis of their day. And abortion is the major crisis of our day.
Levi, there's probably, and I've just got a minute or so left here, Levi, but there's probably somebody out there watching or listening right now who says, I know a young woman who's in a crisis situation. She doesn't know what to do. Would this be a good thing for her to come see?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, definitely. Yeah, invite anybody to this. This is a huge celebratory moment. This isn't something you can invite. This is something to invite your Democrat friends to. They have different viewpoints on this, like anybody, because they're going to come and really they're just going to be celebrated. And these are going to be people who just share their stories, so it's not going to be, you're going to come and it's going to be a big red wave or something like that. It can be a good place for everybody to come, and especially for someone who's in the situation, because they're going to see somebody who's made a brave decision, who's out on the other side.
Yeah, this isn't going to be a political thing. This is truly just a full-on life-affirming thing. It doesn't matter what your political views are, I would think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's come in and see what the Lord's done in these people's lives. It's a time to celebrate life, and not just the life of the baby, but the life of the parents and what is happening in their life as they've been empowered.
All right, let's give out that website information again, Levi, so people can check that out, because your natural reaction is a lot of people are going to go, "Oh, good for them," but that doesn't have anything to do with me. But yeah, they may find something, they take away something out of this unexpectedly.
Yes, that's good. So outreachforlife.org. And it's spelt out, there's not a number 4 in it. Outreachforlife.org, outreachforlife.org.
All right, Levi, good to chat with you again. Thanks so much. Appreciate the update.
All right, thanks, Mike. Appreciate you guys over there.
All right, we've got America's birthday. We got NewsTalkSTL's birthday. There's another birthday coming up.
Lots of
birthdays. Nutrition Stop. Nutrition Stop has a birthday that is going to be on Saturday. And if you look at nutritionstop.com, they've got a birthday barbecue bash happening at the store right there on Mexico Road, noon to 3, completely free. Show up hungry, and you're going to get some great tasting, healthy food, and you can see some great stuff there. Absolutely come on out. Just bring your hungry self, and you're going to have a good time. I'm going to be there at least from 12 to 2. I might stay around till 3, but I'm going to be there at least from 12 to 2. NutritionStop.com on Mexico Road. Look them up. Come on out and say hi.
At Body of Health, we're a small but mighty family operation with big ambitions for your health. I'm Helene Tobler, and I'm jazzed about how our MRI-grade body composition analyzer is putting personalized health and wellness on steroids. It helps me and Dr. Tobler, that's my husband, refine the advice we give to help you feel better and live longer. Body of Health, trusted, discerning, affordable health care the way it ought to be. Learn more at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
Let's get real. Here's the truth about eliminating Missouri's income tax.
I'm here with Dennis Ganal, founder and CEO of Mo Tax Relief Now. So, Dennis, we're talking Amendment 5. Why should grandparents, seniors, care about this?
Well, too many of our children and grandchildren leave Missouri for states like Tennessee with better opportunities and lower taxes. Amendment 5 helps Missouri become more competitive so future generations can stay, work, and raise their families here.
Okay, so it's about money, but it's also about keeping families together?
That's right, family and financial security. Seniors want to keep more of their retirement income and stay close to their children and grandchildren. Amendment 5 protects taxpayers and helps Missouri compete with states that aren't taxing income. Keep your family together. Keep your money. Axe the tax. Vote yes on Amendment 5.
Learn more at afpmissouri.com.
Hey guys, don't miss Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. where we talk about so many areas, including AI, law, and health. We have some fantastic guests on my show. Don't forget, Sunday evenings at 8 p.m., Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser.
Stand and fight with Nick Schroer.
Hey, it's Nick Schroer. To preserve this nation, to preserve the experiment in liberty that our founders envisioned, we must take a stand and fight.
Stand and fight with Nick Schroer. Sunday nights at 6.
Only on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli, and my favorite sandwich from Capriati's is the Wagyu beef French dip. I love Capriati's, and you will too. Visit Capriati's now at 2 locations, on Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill, and now in Creve Coeur on Olive, just 1 mile west of 270. Hi, it's Vic Porcelli.
And Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, Vic.
Ken and I are on every Monday through Friday here on News Talk STL. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh, my morning people.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Things got, they got chippy.
They got a little tense
at the St. Louis County Council meeting yesterday. Also, big night for socialism in New York.
Yeah,
it looks like. Yeah. Can Democrats continue to win in this midterm election on a platform of overt socialism, with Zoran Mamdani being the face of the Democratic Party, which I would argue he's pretty much the face of the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah.
All right. And then the Cardinals have they take a loss last night. The Blues lose a player, one of the key players off the team. He got traded. We'll tell you about that. It's 8:53. Let's go ahead and do one more news dump today.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by Great American Divers. The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks, the Morning News Dump.
All right, Tuesday, St. Louis County Council meeting got so tense.
How tense was it?
The chambers were cleared, and some council members wanted Executive Sam Page removed. He was not moved. That's the spoiler. At issue was a bill to fund contracts for nurses working at the county jail and at the juvenile detention center. So let's make this clear. Nobody is arguing against renewing the contract, or nobody's arguing against paying the nurses, but there are questions about the allocation of that and making sure that the spending is going the way that it's supposed to go and to whom it's supposed to go. Okay?
This doesn't sound like the kind of issue you'd imagine drawing a lot of heat.
Yeah, so the current funding runs out next week. County officials say medical care in the jails is now being scaled back in anticipation of possibly a different contract or a contract not being done. I think it's going to be done this week. The council chambers were cleared when things got heated between the audience and some of the council members, and also between Sam Page and Chair Rita Hurd Days. The council could vote on the funding as early as tomorrow, but the council members wanted to meet with the health department director, Dr. Cunningham, to say, we've got questions about some of the line items, and this is part of the process. And it really ended up being an argument about how dare you not pay the nurses or how you not renew the contract. Nobody's saying they're not going to renew the contract. They're saying we want to make sure the money's right. You got a $40-some million deficit, spending deficit. The county is spending itself into the ground. They darn well better look at every penny and nickel and dime out there, and that's all they're doing. I think they're going to get it done this week. They're going to vote on it possibly as early as tomorrow.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Secretary of State Marco Rubio visiting the UAE as he's meeting with Gulf allies discussing the U.S.-Iran peace negotiations. Speaking with a reporter, the secretary says good groundwork's been laid out, but obviously there's a lot of work to be done.
I think there's a framework and an outline upon which we can make real progress. I think good groundwork was laid over the last 72 hours, but a lot of work remains to be done, and we want to hear from our partners. We want to make sure that their views are taken into account, and we understand their security concerns, their regional economic concerns as well.
And Iran is denying a lot of what the Trump administration is saying right now, so pretty bold for somebody that we're being told was completely annihilated and suffered a complete and utter loss in the war. They're still pretty mouthy, and they're not given too much in some of these negotiations. So hopefully we don't resort to another barrage of missiles and bombs, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to have economically collapsed by now, but they still seem to be finding ways of doing nonsense. So,
former New York City Comptroller left-winger Brad Lander and New York State Assemblywoman Claire Valdez win their congressional primary elections after receiving Mayor Zoran Mamdani's endorsement. Now, both of the far-left candidates, they're fringe. They beat those who were on the left.
Ooh.
And they are way far to, like, we're talking the keffiyeh-wearing crowd. We're talking about the pro-Hamas type of activism here. Senator John Fetterman, himself a Democrat, says this is evidence that voters are rejecting more centrist positions in the Democratic Party.
These are emerging the full pro-Hamas wing. You know, a lot of these candidates that very likely are going to win tonight just declaring a war on just regular Democrats.
So at this point, the Democratic Party, their face is Zoran Mamdani. I would say the base of their party looks to him, maybe even replacing AOC. An avowed socialist, if not communist, is the prime face of this political party right now.
That's not the direction that you should want your party to be going in.
No, I would not think so. And I got to think there's a lot of Democrats who are not on board with this for good reasons. All right, Jordan Kyrou, no longer a Blue. He was traded to the Capitals on Tuesday. Blues get a 16th round draft selection this year, and they also get 2 forwards in exchange. Diamondbacks beat the Cardinals to even up that series. Final score last night was 4-3. Tonight's game starts at 6:45. The Cardinals have called a press conference today saying they've got an announcement about the ownership of the team. I don't know if that's a big deal or not a big deal, but we'll know more by this time tomorrow.